Minutes until showtime. 10 minutes until showtime.
Welcome to the Hot Rocket Sports Studios and another edition of the weekly video recap. March 31st.
Hey, and that's my cue to start the show. Welcome to another edition of the Hard Rocket Sports Show live from High Top Hard Rocket Sports Studios. It's beautiful, scenic Monroe, New Jersey. Welcome to the early edition of the Hard Rocket Sports Show. That's right, guys. Let's kicking the show off a little bit early because I got a lot of stuff to talk about before the real show starts. So I'm going to get in a couple of minutes before everybody else pops up to talk to you guys about some things that aren't football, aren't RFL records, aren't some other things. But guys, I hope you've had a great week. It's been an okay week. I just got back from vacation, was in sunny Florida for the week. So I'm well rested. I missed doing the show last week, which was our official 7-year anniversary on the 27th. But I took the week off with the Florida with my wife. We look and do a little house hunting and try to have a nice little vacation, which we absolutely had a great vacation. other than coming home, which I won't get into the story now, but
6
tonight, guys,
minutes
we got a lot to
until
get to.
showtime.
I definitely want to talk a little bit. We're going to talk a lot of football tonight. It's the NFL training camp show. We do this every year. Jeff and I get together and we talk about the NFL and all things NFL. And you know the show. If you know the show after 7 years, you know the show is primarily built around football. It's just the way it goes. We talk music. We talk all sports. We talk life. We talk about COVID. We'll talk about anything. The man de Blasio's an asshole. We do it all. But at the end of the day, this show is built around football. So tonight we kick off the football season our own special way right here. After our guests, we have some great guests lined up tonight. The boys from Barstools and Band Talk will be stopping by in a few minutes. I'm sure my dad's calling in. John Marhefka from RFL Records will be joining the Barstools and Band Talk guys. And John will stay on and we'll talk a little football with John. He's a big sports guy. Frank Jeffrey, our NFL expert, will be calling in about 8 o'clock, talking all NFL and the Dolphins. And, of course, at
5
8:30, the Raider
showtime.
enthusiast himself, the half man, Dom Ginta, will be checking in at 8:30, doing a little Raider report for us. Jeff will be in a little late tonight, but we got a lot to talk about. First, I want to talk about the Olympics real quick. Simone Biles. Guys, okay. I will tell you that there's mental illness around everybody, okay? Everybody's family is touched by it. I guarantee you in some small way, I get it. But here's what I'm going to say. Simone Biles, had she backed out the day before, any time before that, I give her credit and I say, do what you need to do to take care of yourself. When you accepted that invitation to go represent your country in the Olympics, and you're going to wear the leotards, whatever they call it, with the GOAT emblem on it, signifying that you're the greatest of all time, gotcha. Go for it. But you can't back out in the middle of the Olympics.
4
1, you hurt
minutes
your team.
until showtime.
2, you hurt your legacy. And 3, you kept an opportunity for some other Olympian or Olympic-type athlete who could have gotten an opportunity to go out there and compete for her country. And that's disgusting. I'm sorry. Listen, I'm sure whatever she was feeling during the Olympics, she was feeling before. And if not, suck it up. And I'm going to use this phrase all night long and probably for the rest of my time on the air. But pressure is a privilege, my friends. Pressure is a privilege. Do you know what that means? That means the ability to stand up there in front of the entire world and compete. The ability to stand on a stage and play music for thousands. The ability to stand at home plate or on the pitcher's mound and play baseball is a privilege. That pressure is a privilege. And if you can't handle it, Buttercup, get out the way.
3
That's all I'm going to
minutes
tell you.
until
I've
showtime.
watched a lot of the Olympics being on vacation. We watched a lot of it. And some of it was great. The beach volleyball, regular volleyball, the swimming were fantastic events. I will say this, and to my Canadian brothers who are going to be coming on in a few minutes, I will please thank the Canadian women's team for beating the Americans because I got no interest. If you're not out there, if you're wearing our colors, you better be patriotic about it. If you're going to go out there and compete with your nation's name on the front of your jersey, you better do it right. And those women don't. And I'm so happy they got knocked out. So to my Canadian brothers and sisters, thank you for knocking them out. I am thrilled. We got a lot to get to tonight, folks. We got plenty to talk about. Around here, there are all sorts of mask mandates and forcing people to take
2
vaccines. And
minutes
it's hitting home for
until
me, folks.
showtime.
Hitting home for me. So we got a lot to get to tonight. We'll talk Yankees. We'll talk Jets. Football in general. I got so many topics to hit. I'm looking forward to it. Again, I'm going to open the show in a minute or two. I got started a few minutes early, but I'm going to play the new song from our friends at Corners of Sanctuary. Mick Michael sent me their new single, which is Casualties of War, coming out tomorrow on the Blood and Steel EP. So make sure you check them out. John, I'll talk a lot a bit about those guys when John pops up at about 7:20. So lots to get to, lots to talk about. Olympics, we'll touch on that tonight because I'm sick and I'm fed up with these athletes who want to represent their country with their own agenda. Jesus H. Christ, get out the way. If you don't love your country, don't go out there. All you're using it for is self-promotion. It ain't about you.
1 minute until showtime.
Simone Biles, it's not about you. You are part of a team. Get out there and compete. Pressure is a privilege. I don't know how many times I got to say it. I am fed up. I got an early start because I wanted to say that. So lots to talk about. I can't wait for Jeff to pop up. He's going to be a little late. We got plenty to get to before Jeff, though. Aaron Rodgers, Carson Wentz. I love soccer. I got to tell you, I love the volleyball. I had a lot of the week we were watching all the beach volleyball and the indoor games. Great stuff. Those girls and guys are great athletes, boy. Such a great time. So we'll get to all that. Lots of football stuff. Lots of Jets. I'll give you my analysis on the Jets and the Giants. We're about a minute from the actual show kicking off because that's how it works. They're actually kicking off. And then my dad should be kicking in right around 7. We'll talk to him for a minute.
We'll go live in 5
And here it is.
seconds.
Stand by,
4,
folks.
3, 2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
Down goes Frazier. It's over the wall. It's a home run for Bucky Beck. Fumble. Giants have it. Lawrence Taylor struck the ball.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
And I'll do it again and live from High Top Hard Rocket Sports Studios in beautiful scenic Monroe, New Jersey. We are your weekly 3-hour get-together every Thursday night here on the Hard Rocket Sports Show, live from High Top Hard Rocket Sports Studios. Guys, welcome to Thursday night, August the 5th, and our 7th annual Hard Rocket Sports NFL Training Camp Show. Okay, this is our 7th anniversary, and I can't believe I've been doing this for 7 years. Started out in my wife's sewing room, putting this show together every week. First show was 2 hours long, couldn't do 45 minutes. I think I did 45 minutes. I had to shut the show down because I had nothing else to talk about. And how far we've come in 7 years. We've had some amazing guests. Geezer Butler. We've had KK Downing, Jeff Tate, Tommy John, Carmine Appice, Vinny Appice, or Appice. I don't know which one they go by. We've had over almost 150-something guests, local, national. We've had Rick Emmett from Triumph, all the guys over at Arthur Records, Westlake, all the bands. After the Fall, Mick Michaels, Bobby Gustafson, ex Overkill. So many guys. The guys from Foghat. Oh man, drawing a blank on those guys. Again, we've had so many guests on the show. I can't even begin to say thank you. So on our 7th year anniversary, I got to thank a few people before the show really kicks in. First off, thanks to Jimmy Galicchio. He did the original theme song, which he plays before every show. Thanks to my brother Rich, who did the intro. Still use those to this day. And thank you for being the inspiration for the show, Rich, and pushing me to do it. Thanks to Joe Gansas, Nick Marino, big love, Nick. Who are the original producers of the Hard Rocket Sports Show over the past 7 years. I've handled the reins the last couple of years myself. Again, thanks to my partner in crime, my dear friend, and my brother from some other mother, Jeff Tolwinski, for being my co-host for the last 5+ years. Thanks to my wife for putting up with my crap and doing this every Thursday night. And again, thanks to all of you guys who have supported us along the way, all the different charities we've helped. And who have helped us, create a name for ourselves. So hopefully we'll do this a little while longer. Who knows? Maybe someday a talent scout will reach down and pluck Jeff and I from the bowels of obscurity. But if they don't, no big deal. We come here every Thursday night, live from High Top Hard Rocket Sports Studios in beautiful scenic Monroe, New Jersey. We'll do this every Thursday night until they pull the plug. But we got a lot to get to. I see my dad popped up. I want to get a minute with my dad. I see two of the boys from Barstools and Band Talk, and then John Mahef could be joining us soon. Again, guys, thanks for tuning into the Hard Rocket Sports Show. We love having you. I hope you guys have had a great week. Lots to talk about tonight. We got a lot of sports. We got a lot of COVID stuff. I gotta sneak that in somewhere along the line. It's going to creep into sports again, and Mayor Jerkoff in New York City. And your sleepy, creepy Uncle Joe. All those guys are, I don't know. Let's get to my dad quick and then get the guys from Barstools on. What's up, Pop?
What's up, guys?
It's just me tonight so far, Dad. Jeff's checking in later. What's going on?
Nothing much. I'm just, we want to be the first to congratulate you and your wife on your anniversary tomorrow.
Thank you, Pops. Yes, we have 11 years for me and my beautiful bride. Yep, absolutely.
Wow, yes.
11 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulate the Yankees on the trades that they made.
Great job. You gotta love the Rizzo trade. I like the Gallo trade. I'll think that'll come through, but I love what Rizzo's done, Dad.
I'm just curious of what they're going to. They haven't decided what they're going to do with Voit.
I think. Well, I heard Boone today being interviewed, and it sounds like they're going to leave him as long as they possibly can. There is a time limit. He could stay in the minors, and then they'll bring him up, and he's going to come off the bench. I mean, that's just it. I don't see it unless there's an injury along the way. I just don't see him doing anything else other than that, Dad.
I don't know how happy he's going to be about it.
Listen. I mean, I'm not saying. I got it.
Champ last year.
Third time on the DL this year, Dad. He ain't hitting. Rizzo's coming in, knocking the crap out of the ball. Hey.
I listen. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I mean, if you gave me a pick, I mean, I said all along, I thought that he should be gone.
I could agree.
As good as he was.
I agree, Pops. I agree. So we'll see. I mean, I think that's the least. I think the least of their worries is if they can't find a place for Luke Voit on the field. So. I don't think that's gonna matter, but you gotta love the way they're playing baseball, scoring runs. The pitching's been good. You know, let's see. Who knows? Maybe we'll make a season out of it anyway. What do you think?
I think they got a good shot. The only thing that's scaring me now is their pitching. I mean, before their pitching was great. Now they're actually bringing guys up from AAA.
Well, Cole's got COVID. Somebody else just went down with COVID. Another pitcher. So yeah, they're running out of pitchers right now. Hopefully Severino's going to be back in a couple weeks, and Kluber also. So this might turn into a blessing. Got some fresh arms coming around before September and make a run. Last 50-something games, you got to win 30. Maybe 35 of them, and you go 35-16, and you're a playoff team.
Boston seems to be coming back down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, so does seem to be the Mets.
Yeah, well.
Mets tonight could be a half a game in front.
Yeah, they must have a tough series. Listen, the Mets have no pitching, and their offense is anemic. They can't score runs.
And I still say they're having more trouble with what's his name than they're letting on.
Oh, Cone? I mean DeGrom. Sorry, DeGrom.
No.
DeGrom.
DeGrom.
Yeah, you know what, Pops?
You get a picture where his arm is sore.
Yeah.
There's more to it than what they're telling you.
I couldn't agree with you more, Pops. I couldn't agree with you more. We'll see. I mean, listen, they're saying he'll be back in September. Maybe too late by then. Whatever. It is what it is. So we'll see what happens. I mean, but let's enjoy the Yankees. They're about to kick it off. I got the Yankee game up on the screen. Tonight's a big series with the Mariners. They're trailing the Mariners in the second wild card spot, so it's a big series.
Should be very interesting.
Absolutely.
Well, now they have the choice. Everything's in front of them.
Yep.
So
yeah.
They're gonna.
Yeah.
They got a shot for the wild card, definitely, and I think they got a good shot for first place.
Well,
I think Boston eventually is going to start, which they're doing now, coming back.
Yeah, 35 wins. They need 35 wins. 35 wins probably gets you close to 90. You're almost 90 wins at that point. Probably wins the division, but long way off. We got a whole half a season still going on here. Still 50 games going on. We'll see how it plays out, Pops.
Yeah, see what's going on. Man.
Yep.
So what else is doing? Nothing?
That's it, Pops. Everything's good. Just got a big show. There's the little boys checking in. Hey guys, everybody on Facebook, kicking in. Give it a few minutes. Got the boys from Barstools and Band Talk warming up in the bullpen. Gonna get them on in a minute. So, but
I like those names.
Yes, Barstool and Bad Talk. You love these guys, Sean and Dave.
Yeah.
So, but that was so.
All right, I want to let you go.
Thanks, Pops.
And enjoy the rest of your night. And again, wish both of you a happy Wickle anniversary. You
Thanks,
both
Pops.
deserve it.
Thank you, Pops.
I'll
Appreciate
talk
that.
to you later, buddy.
You got it.
All right.
That's my
Bye-bye.
dad. He checks in every week with us. Love having him on the show. Thanks to all the guys. Wishes happy anniversary, Patrick Digger. Yes, Patrick. The Mets suck, but you know what, guys? Let's switch off of sports for a few minutes. Get my good friends from Barstools and Band Talk. I love having roundtables with these guys. They're super knowledgeable musicians and music lovers. So let's get Dave and Sean here on the Hard Rockets Sports Show. Welcome up, boys.
How you doing?
I'm having a good
Tommy,
time.
thanks for having us on, brother. Thanks for having us on. I love that whole sequence there with your dad. That was awesome. I could just imagine when you guys were growing up, the conversation that would have been on the table. You and your brother and your dad all talking. It would have been awesome.
I get my love of music and sports from my dad. My mom's not the biggest music person, and she hates sports, but my dad is a big music lover, and we grew up in a house with listened to nothing but Elvis and a lot of the doo-wop guys of the 50s, and then my dad turned me on when I was a baby to sports. So I get it all from him, and I usually open up every show. Starts with my dad. I give him he loves it. He does this every week. And if he doesn't, he calls me up and he apologizes. So nothing better than having a few minutes to talk sports with your dad.
That's awesome.
But guys, how you doing, Sean?
I'm doing fantastic, Tommy. How are you?
Okay, listen, we got a lot to talk about. Oh, before I forget, guys, one more thing. The new underwear will make another appearance this week. Jeff has requested the new underwear. We have to discuss my wife bought me these new underwear that have a sack for your sack.
Sacks. Are they?
And it didn't work out so good the first time I wore them. It was a lot of pinching and some puddling. So, Jeff, we have a guest coming on later who we're going to challenge to see if what underwear he's wearing. But anyway, the underwear is going to make another appearance. It was a big event a couple weeks ago. So.
Trust me, once you figure them out, they will change your life.
It might. You're maybe right. I haven't figured them out. All I got was a lot of pinching and squeezing. So we're just letting everybody out there know. But so, guys, so let's start with this. So I talk about you guys on the show. I love doing the roundtable with you guys. It's so much fun getting together. But tell everybody, because I've had some people ask me, so I want you guys to explain. What is Barstool and Band Talk?
Well,
good question.
Go ahead. I guess.
Well, so it was basically last year when everything shut down. We were just trying to figure out a way to not go shack-wacky in our houses, and so Dave and I was doing a radio show, a community radio show about sports, oddly enough.
Okay.
And everything shut down, so I got the idea to start. Hey, I've got all kinds of musical friends. Let me get them some press. So we started interviewing them, and then Dave and I kind of started doing it together. And we thought, well, hey, let's start a Facebook page, and we'll just promote artists that we grew up around Atlanta, Canada, listening to and idolizing. And it started out pretty modestly, and quickly kind of kept going. And then we got Miss Darby Mills on the show, who used to play with the Headpins. And she was the one that really spun it out of control for us, where we just started getting everybody and anybody. And it's just basically what it is. It's an interview show. It's a comedy show. It's a place where people can exchange ideas. And it's a whole lot of fun.
Absolutely, Dave. And what was the inspiration for the name and how and getting it off the ground? And how do you guys decide on content, Dave? Tell me how you guys, here I decide on content. Jeff shows up on Thursday nights, has no idea what we're going to talk about, and I spend the week. Dave, how do you guys, first off, tell us where the name came from, but also, how do you guys come up with your content for the week?
Well, this is a funny story. And I don't know if this story's ever been told, Tommy. So you're going to get an exclusive here
listen to that. We got an exclusive here at the Hard Rock and Sports Show. I love it.
Sean and I had 1,000 different names we were throwing around just because we knew what we wanted. We wanted the complete maritime music bucket list, and then we wanted the complete arts and entertainment bucket list. We wanted something with arts and entertainment, promoting live music, talking about, the premise is like if Sean and I were sitting in a bar, we'd be talking to our friends about, hey, what did you do lately? Remember this happened years ago? Ha, ha, ha. What are you going to do in the future? It was just that kind of premise. So we kind of used this generator, and it came up, Barstools and Band Talk, the complete music or maritime music bucket list. It's like, we'll go with that. So we're not going to pay royalties. Sorry, but that's how that came about. And now we have a cool logo. You might say this is a brand new shirt. You're going to see it right now the first time. Barstool and Bad Talk. There's the 160 people that we talked to in the last year and a half.
Wow.
So that's the kind of thing that we started back in April of 2020. And more is from a content perspective, I guess we were kind of monitoring everything pretty quickly because it took about a month before we hit 300 people. We thought we were doing great. Now we're almost 6,000 people strong. The content just keeps coming in. So we had to kind of filter it. We have a team now that helps us moderate it and make sure everything's kind of, everything's copacetic. We don't want to offend anybody, and we want to make sure everyone's playing nicely. We never want to have this to be a negative site. We wanted people to come here and have a positive experience, to Sean's point, and just a place to kind of escape from all the crap that was going on in the world, right? So the content comes in. I mean, we have, well over 150,000 different comments and reactions from different people that come in. So we just kind of, it's a monster we started. We can't stop now.
And you shouldn't stop it. And you know what, guys? I'll tell you, when I sat down, I was talking to my brother when I came up with the idea for the show, and he said, "What would you want to talk about?" And I said, "I'll have to talk about sports or music." And he said, "Why not do both?" Great.
Yeah.
And the premise of the show was two guys sitting at a bar just talking. And when I go out with my buddies, 1 minute we're talking about baseball, and then 3 steps later we got new presidents being elected. The conversation goes any which way, and that's kind of how the show works. Yeah. I got a bunch of premises, and then we kind of just see where it goes from there. So I love the premise. Sean, when Dave's talking about 160 people and you interviewed, has there been a guest? I've interviewed some people that were idols of mine. Rick Emmett was a guy that growing up I loved, and I find it. There's a thing when you're interviewing, you almost want to be the fan to tell them how much you love them, but you're trying to be professional. Have you run into a guest so far where you kind of step back and said, all right, how do I get through this? Because I'm a huge fan. How do I get through this?
For me, no, only because when we first started, like we had Todd Zuckerman on from Styx, the drummer of Styx, who's huge idol of mine. I love the guy, just a great guy. And I made the comment to him before we started. I don't want to be like Chris Farley interviewing Paul McCartney on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
So I've always been mindful to not do that. And, I watched that movie Hired Gun and Liberty DeVito, and people are tired of me saying this, but I said, if I could spend 5 minutes talking to that man, I could quit. And he was fantastic and just a down-to-earth guy. This is a guy that's done more in his life than I probably ever will musically, and just so awesome. We had the opportunity to interview Eric Martin from Mr. Big a couple of weeks ago. And so we're done, and we're like, Eric, we want to be respectful of your time. And he goes, well, I don't have anywhere to be till my son's basketball game in 3 hours. We sat around for another hour and a half just So it's so cool. And I don't say it that much anymore because it's just I don't feel I need to. But I used to say it's so nice when you meet one of your heroes and they're not a-holes, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you mentioned Rick Emmett, I tell you, we had Rick on the show, and I had the opportunity to get to know him a little bit when I was living in Toronto, and I opened for him a couple times. And just what a gentleman! I mean, he's an icon. And it continues to blow me away when Dave and I talk to folks down where you are, south of the border of us, that they know these people, because these are people that we grew up listening to and idolizing. Yeah. And it's like, April Wine. Sure. Triumph, like it just blows me away. So I don't get too caught up in that.
No, Dave, I saw you shaking your head early. Is it a different thing for you? Was it different for you?
No, it's so true. And and Sean's being respectful, but I mean, like the premise was we didn't want to embarrass anybody, and we didn't want to be embarrassed, because it's funny because I talked about the maritime music scene when we first started this whole the whole Barstools and Band Talk. That's where we're from. We're Atlantic Canada, the maritime region of Canada, and the folks who are have some moderate success here kind of shunned at us. I mean, so we were going to run out of content, run out of interviews pretty quickly. So we kind of went outside of Nova Scotia, outside of Halifax, outside of the maritime provinces, outside of Ontario, and we started talking to like Canadian icons, not only Canadian icons, but to Sean's point, Todd Zuckerman, Liberty DeVito, there's so many, Eric Martin, like so many people that we talked to that aren't even Canada. Pardon me?
I said
Ron Keel, Ron Keel, another big one. And some of the guys from the RFL have been a great partnership we've had with RFL Records, and some of the cool stuff that they're coming out of. And again, we would never have found them had it not been for this site. But we just go out of our way to be respectful of the people. Sean and I are musicians. We've been on the road. We've been in the vans. We've done that deal. We've all stayed in the shitty band houses. We all ate the rotten craft dinner. Sean has a great story about making craft dinner out of T-shirts and a hot water bottle. It's kind of funny. But we've all done that stuff. So we can, I guess we can relate to where they've been. So when we talk to them, it's just like talking to a friend, and I think they get that right away. It's never embarrassing. We're not going to ask any tough questions. Let's just share your story. That's all we want to do.
And I'll just add, Tommy, that I think Dave and I are both blessed in the fact that when we were coming up, when we were younger, we had some of the best rock clubs in Canada, in Halifax, and so we were very fortunate that we got to open for a lot of these folks and meet them.
Yep.
And so the whole Glee sort of fanny thing. I got over that in my 20s, and now that I'm in my 30s, no, I'm just kidding. I don't get too hung up on it anymore. And again, it's so cool. You meet these folks. I mean, Eric Martin, he just I grew up listening to that man. What a resume! And you meet those folks, and it's just like, wow, they're just people that happen to have a little success, and they remember where they came from.
Oh, absolutely. Right. And listen, and it's so much fun. Like we've had Billy Sheehan on the phone on the show a couple of times. I think 3 times. And the guy couldn't be nicer. And he treats you like, and when they treat you like a gentleman like that, listen, we've had Jeff Tate on the phone on the show 3 or 4 times, and it was like pulling teeth. And not a bad guy. Obviously, one of my favorite singers of all time from one of my favorite bands in Queensryche.
Yep.
But when they're like Geezer Butler couldn't have been a nicer human being. Like just went out of his way to be nice to us. The same thing for Billy Sheehan and Dave Meniketti from YNT. So many guys are, but the one guy that got me, I don't know if you guys are big hockey fans, but 1980 Olympics, Mike Ruzioni, captain of the U.S. team. I got him on the show right around the 25th anniversary of the 25th or 35th, I think it is. And I told him, listen, I'm going to interview you as professionally as possible. But I am shaking because you are one of my idols growing up. It was one of those guys who changed my life as a kid. I got into hockey, and I wanted to be Mike Ruzioni. And when he called me on the phone before the interview to talk, I was like blown away. So from this end of the day, I am not that professional. I will let my fandom get in the way sometimes.
Well, I want to tell you a really great story. It's a hockey story. I was playing a bar in Halifax a number of years ago, and there was a bunch of NHL old timers in there playing against the police officers and stuff. So we're playing at the bar, and this guy walks in, and he's got the handlebar mustache. He's like, I think I know him, but I'm not sure. So anyway, we finish our set. We go upstairs. He walks up and he goes, guys, I'd just like to say what a great band you have. I'm a guitar player. My name's Brian Trottier.
Wow.
And he sat down and hung out, and he stayed the whole night. He signed everything that everybody put forward. 10 months later, he's back in town. I didn't know it. I'm going to get up on the stage and I hear, hey, Sean, how's it going? I look back, and it's Brian Trottier again.
That's cool stuff.
Six-time Stanley Cup champ.
Yeah, listen, I hated him my whole youth. He was an Islander and then the Pittsburgh Penguin, and I hated Trottier, but what a great hockey player.
Well, and I'll tell you another funny story. So at the time, my son, who's now 23, was about 8, and they got to go on for a 2-minute 50 kids on the ice. And anyway, my son goes in and friggin' roof one on Billy Smith. Oh. And so later on at the bar, I said, hey, Billy, that was my kid that did that. He goes, that little anyway, you know what? It's so cool when you meet these guys and they're they're nice. I mean, now probably one of the worst experiences I have, and I won't say who it is, but the name rhymes with Lars Ulrich, and I met him 3 or 4 times.
Not a big fan over here either. Go ahead.
Well, and you know what? Fantastic drummer. People have their opinions on Lars, but let's just say what it is. The guy's super successful. Mm-hmm. But I will give him this. He was consistent. 4 times I met him, he was the same guy 4 times. So take that.
Yeah, listen. Here's what I say: if you're an asshole, be an asshole, right? If just be who you are. Don't pretend. Don't give me the But it's tough, and I say all the time to Jeff, whenever we get this stuff, you just never know what you're going to get, and I get the fear a lot of times when I get a chance to talk to an interview these guys, and I say, please, please, please be a nice guy because I've always liked this guy. George Foreman called me. I sent him an email on a Sunday night. On a Monday morning, George Foreman calls me from the dentist chair to set up an interview. I mean, I'm like,
That's awesome.
yeah. So you just pray that these are good guys. But listen, we're not here to give you my thoughts. I want to get more on you guys. And listen, you guys, beside all the music stuff, you got the side hustle going on. You also do a lot of charity stuff, and I commend you on that stuff. But tell me a little bit about side hustle. Tell me a little bit about what the other things you guys got coming up. That I see you got some events coming up. You got a birthday party coming up. Dave, come on, Dave, talk to me a little bit.
Well, Side Hustle was a band that kind of stemmed out of Sean. It's funny because actually a picture showed up about 3 months ago. It was like one of those Facebook memories. And I hadn't physically seen Sean in person for about 15 years. Now, he and I were best friends, back when we were 15, 16 years old. We played in bands till we were 18, 19. We went different ways, different bands. We reunited back in year 2000. That's kind of what I do. And then 20 years later, here we are again, between Dispersals and Band Talk together. Said, and Sean said, we should do something, like do a little band. I said, yeah. So I had some friends, and he had some friends. We could put the things together, and then started to morph into something a little bit more serious than what we originally anticipated. And we have some great players in this band. We have a 6-piece band, 2 guitar players, a keyboard player, Sean and I playing bass and drums, and Michelle Ryder, whose birthday is coming up. Actually, physically her birthday today, and her birthday celebration this weekend. And just an amazing vocalist. So we put together this band, and we played some really interesting covers. Like we're not at the point now where we're really focused on doing any original stuff, although we could be. But it's really just to get out and play again, and to kind of constitute what we do with Barstools and Band Talk in real time. So we're talking about live music. Now we're playing live music. Come out and see us. Come out and see other people. Come out and play. Come out and play. And after this whole COVID bullshit, we want to get people to get back out again. That's our plan, our goal, is just to get people feeling comfortable and being back out again.
Nice.
And the set list, picture this: a young Tommy Florio trying to ask somebody when he's in grade 10 or 11 to dance, and it's all the 80s, right? But here's how I see it: not you, not you, not you, you, right? And so that's kind of how the whole show is laid out. And you're very fortunate that everybody knows that you can have great players. If you don't have a great singer, you're dead in the water. When you have a singer like Michelle, it opens up an awful lot more material. So and it's cool. And the thing is that it was really a tool for Barstools to be able to use to promote all the bars that we're playing in.
Right.
And it's just kind of caught on, and we're getting some great support. And we have very cool logos and swag.
Nice. Well, guys, Hard Rocket Sports here. It's our 7th anniversary show. Again, 7 years ago on July 31st, I did the first show. It was the first annual Hard Rocket Sports show, NFL training camp show. And I'm back here tonight, 7 years later, doing it again. And we invited a bunch of friends on tonight, starting with Sean and Dave. And they're going to tell you in about 2 seconds how to find where they are each day, each week, how you can keep up with what they're up to, websites and all that. But make sure you stick around after they're done. John Marhefka, who's in the bullpen right now, will come on in a second. We're going to break down a lot of the NFL training camp stuff. We got a little bit of Olympics. I'm going to sleep in there. I'm going to sneak in there. We're going to talk a little bit about underwear. We got a little bit at the end of the show. I want to get a couple things in. But this is all about football. But thanks for guys for checking us out, staying with us. And make sure you come back each and every Thursday night when Jeff and I get together and do this each and every Thursday. So hang in there, guys. So who wants to give me all the websites and all that other stuff? And you're not going anywhere. I'm just going to bring John in a second, but I want to get your and by the way, Doug Franklin's hanging there. Dougie, how are you, buddy? By the way, Doug, you were invited on tonight, and you douched me because you never even responded. So, Dougie, I hope your Cowboys lose all 16 games.
Let Doug know I'm drinking Ryan Ginger Ale. Ryan Ginger.
Hey, Tom, listen. Jerry Jones lives forever, and he's your GM and ruins your team, you jerk. All right. I love Doug. He's the best.
2 anniversaries for you now, Tommy. Hey, 2 anniversaries. It's the 7th anniversary for your show and your 11th anniversary with your wife. So congratulations to you, brother.
Thank you very much. Yes, we tomorrow night, my wife and I will be celebrating our 11th wedding anniversary. So Thank you very much. Yes, and tonight is 7 years for the show, and she stuck through me with all of this craziness. It's like my first show was in her sewing room, staring at a wall for 45 minutes, and I didn't know what to talk about. So,
well, geez, brother, wait till you figure out those underwear.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I got to get her sewing again. She got to close the hole in there because it's too big. So. We got to do some management things.
Oh, it's Commando. Always commando, brother.
Nice. Maybe a little too much information, even for the Hard Rock and Sports Show, Dave, but that's okay. So, guys, come on, give me some websites. Doug, Dave, Sean, want somebody to give me something?
Well, start with Facebook. The Facebook, if you look at Barstools, it's BARSTOOLS in Band Talk. You'll find us on Facebook. There's 6,000 people strong. From there, you'll see lots of different opportunities. The YouTube channel, you can give that, Sean.
I don't even know the YouTube channel. I'm subscribed to it, but if you hit the little magnifying glass for Barstools and Band Talk, you'll find over 170 interviews. I would encourage, and you're mentioning anniversaries and whatnot. There was a surprise birthday party for me last year that Dave had a hand in, and if you go on it, there's a great reel of a whole bunch of people at that point we had interviewed. Happy birthday to me, and it was pretty cool. Some of the folks that are on there. You guys know Lee Aaron.
Sure.
Yeah. Pound for pound, probably one. I had people asking if they could have that happy birthday, and it said my name, but they just wanted the happy birthday. So
kind of like the Farrah Fawcett poster on the wall in 1977.
Okay. Yeah, listen, that's a pretty good one. Yeah. Now, listen, let me get John on. Don't go nowhere. Let's get my man John Hefka from RFO. He's the top dog at RFO Records and the sexiest man on his side of the screen. So let's get Johnny Boy. What's up, Johnny?
I'll be right back, boys.
Hey, guys.
What's up, Johnny Boy?
Tommy, first off, I want to say happy anniversary twice.
Thank you, sir. Much appreciated on both ends. Thank you.
7 years of Hard Rock and Sports, man. I've been here for, I don't know how many, 4 years now, and
I think
it's still my favorite sports show.
Thank you very much. John, it's a dubious thing. 7 years on the air doing this, and I'm still doing it. Not sure sometimes how we do it every week, but we seem to do it. A lot of shows, and now it's fun. But one of the blessings has been meeting you and being semi-involved with your label. And just before the show tonight, I get a text, I get a message from Mick Michaels giving me the new song to play, which I will do, and just being having interviewed so many people on the label and having so much fun. All the behind the scenes. So I thank you for being a part of the Hard Rock and Sports Show and letting us in the door a little bit at RFL.
Oh, anytime, you know that. And I see Dave up in the corner too. And there's Sean right there.
Sorry, guys. Ego the size of Manhattan, water the size of Scranton. So I apologize for that.
Well, Johnny, this is a big anniversary for you too, John. 5 years for RFL Records. That's a big deal, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 years. I mean, we had the show 2 weeks ago, and it still blows my mind. It's been, 5 years. I mean, it's I don't even know what the word is. I mean, surreal. I don't even like using that word, but it's really what it is. You just can't even believe it. The things that have happened over 5 years.
Yeah, listen, John.
Cool.
You all the bands. I mean, you got a lot of stuff coming up. There's a lot of I made a list. Between the new album dropping, the new EPs tomorrow for Corners, right? Corners of Sanctuary,
right.
That tomorrow, Blood and Steel, which I heard Casualties of War, which is a great tune. I'm going to play that a little bit later. You got the big, let's see, September 18th. Is that still happening? I didn't have a chance to catch it before the show. You had the RFO Records Invades Brandy's Inn. Is that still possibly happening?
That is Corners of Sanctuary after the fall. And, that's going to be a great show. I mean, that's really going to be a great show. That's in Brandy's and Irwin. That's where I grew up. So we're looking forward to it. Definitely looking forward to it.
Hydrogen's Boiling Point drops on September 3rd. Love Holly's voice. And Westlake, as much as I hate to admit, he's one of my favorite. He's just one of those guys that no matter what he touches, it just sounds great. And I love him. He's such a good dude.
Great guy, yeah.
He is. He's one of my favorite people. I mean, we hit it off right from the start. And Jeff is to say he's a character is an understatement. Extreme understatement.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Saying that Jeff Westlake's a character is like I ain't going to make the analogy.
Well, I'll say this too, Tommy, and with John here because I missed the first part. Our first, I guess, exposure to RFL was, a fellow countryman of ours, Sven Galley. And, we clicked with the RFO boys right away. And one of the things that I love, I mean, their artists are fantastic and what they're doing is fantastic. And I'm excited to continue to work with them. But I like getting in the chats where John will send a random sort of a tune that I haven't heard in years. Douglas saying the same thing, and I'm sitting there going, these are my people, man. Like we're not talking the new stuff. We're talking people that had to go in the studio and do it the hard way, and it's just it's so cool to hear some of that throwback music.
Well, yeah, I do love to see those from John. You look up and you're seeing stuff from Fates Warning and stuff I haven't listened to in 100 years. You're like, wow, John's digging deep into the vault this week.
Well, the other thing I like about John too, because John's like, he's so calm. Yeah. So anyway, and it's like so calm, so pro. And then you bring up Mike Tomlin, and he just goes bananas.
Yes. What you should see is a Sunday afternoon in my house, and I'll be watching the game, and all of a sudden I'll start getting 6 messages in a row on Facebook from John completely ripping Mike Tomlin apart. And the calmest, most nicest guy I've ever met is dead thirsty and would go down there and choke Mike Tomlin to death if he could.
Freaking Americans. You Americans that way, look.
I'm telling you, it's the funniest thing. We'll go back and forth for a half an hour, just talking about the 2 games. I'm watching the Giants, he's watching the Steelers, or once in a while we're both watching the same game.
That's it. I mean, it's an NFL Sunday. I mean, Tommy and I, we're like from the same mother with that one. It's we're both fanatical about our teams, and even the smallest mistakes. I mean, it's just you don't know who to blame, but you got to blame somebody, and usually I point right to the coach, and that's the end of it right there.
Hey boys, big news up here in Canada. The CFL starts tonight.
I got to tell you, there was a bunch of years I watched a lot of CFL games when ESPN used to carry it a lot, and they still do. The years when Flutie was up there or Moon was up there, and there was some good football players. It's a little different, but there's nothing wrong with the CFL. So I'll catch
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson came from that, so.
He got cut by the Calgary Stampeders, and he did okay. So a lot of people, Tommy, you would know that, John, you would know that too. But there's been a lot of, I guess we're kind of it's the minor league for those really super talented people that eventually find their way.
Yeah, again, listen, it's hey, Anthony Carey, nice to see you, brother. Yeah, listen, football's football, and whatever level it is, and I never considered it a minor league or anything, but it's just a different game. But I've watched a ton of those games, and is it the Grey Cup? I think this is what it's called. Is a great game. Like I said, Doug Flutie had a great career up there, and probably should have just stayed up there. Although they come back down and have a decent career here, but so yeah, listen, nothing wrong with football. I don't care where you. Okay, if you're playing in a hockey arena, I love watching the game. So that's although the arena football league is not my favorite thing. But
so Tommy, you touched on the Olympics earlier. Now I see the U.S. is 29 gold and China's 34. They're 74 overall. I think the U.S. was 91 overall. So you gonna pull up your socks or what? There, U.S.
I got to tell you, I've watched a lot of the Olympics. When I was on vacation in Florida last week, I got to watch a lot of it. And, I find myself, it's so aggravated. I found myself rooting against some of the athletes from the U.S. because, if you're going up there, you can't promote yourself over your country. There's a famous line from the movie Miracle, and it's a simple one. The name on the front is much more important than the name on the back.
Yeah.
The minute people forget that, okay, and the women's soccer team, I started to show up by saying thank you to my Canadian sisters for beating the American women soccer team, because there's a bunch of women who just are playing with the jersey on but don't appreciate it. And if you don't want to play for your country, I get it. Don't play for it. But
you said something earlier, Tommy. It was pressure was a privilege. That was a cool line.
And I did not coin it, but
it's your line from now on. From now on, so Tommy Florio. That's it.
I am making it. I am making it my tagline for life because it's a simple phrase, but it is what it is. If you want to stand up on that stage and entertain, if you want to go on the pitches on the mound, if you want to be under center or in the crease or whatever that big moment is. That's a privilege. A lot of us would die to have that moment with all that pressure on you. And if you can't perform, then get out of the way, Buttercup. Let somebody else in. And this whole Simone Biles thing really annoyed the crap out of me. Listen, I know mental illness is an issue. I have it. It's in my family. I understand it. But if you're not going to compete, then don't take the opportunity from somebody else. I'm sorry, guys. Guys, you'll jump in on this, but it's no shame to step away. But once you take that baton, you got to run the race.
It's if you think about football, baseball, back in the day, we'll say as recently as the 70s, they were making big money, and by big money, they weren't making that big money. I mean, you were talking, hearing people having part-time with jobs, bagging groceries and stuff like that, and then going and playing a game.
Mm-hmm.
But now these kids are recruited when they're 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. They're told they're special from the time they can walk. And a friend of mine who's a PR person in sports has a great line. You can always tell when somebody's a problem when they say they're a great hockey, whatever player, but they're an even better person. That's the tip off for this person's a problem. And it's true, but it's on the mental health thing for sure. I get that. That's a tough thing, but you're right. I mean, if you think about it, there's thousands of people that are competing to try to get that spot to go over to the Olympics. And, if it was me and I'm sitting there going, and I don't want to beat up on anybody, but I couldn't go because somebody else beat me out and then they decide to not compete, I think I'd probably lose a little bit of, faith in the sport, the governing body, whatever. I mean, the process, right?
Yeah. John, you can't, I'm sorry. And again, everybody's going to feel differently. And I get the wokeisms that we live in today's day and age, but John, I can't celebrate Simone Biles for what she did because she's got mental illness. She did what she had to do, and I get it, but then don't compete and don't take that spot from some other 18, 19-year-old person who for the last 3 years have worked their ass off and just missed making it. It just can't happen, John.
The last 18 years, Tom, let's be honest, their whole life, they would have trained that their whole life.
But you had an opportunity 4 years ago to try to get in there. You missed. So for 3 years, you busted your ass.
Yeah.
Thank you. You busted your ass to get there, and then you missed it, John. I'm sorry, I can't celebrate it.
What's crazy about this too, Tommy, is when I saw that happened, right in the beginning like that, I almost thought, hey, something different's going on here. It just doesn't seem right. I mean, this girl, has never had, these issues in the past. I mean, she's obviously, the best of the best of the best.
Uh-huh.
And then, all of a sudden, then you see this happen in 2021. I mean, I know it's a lot of pressure, and I get all that, but it's really a tough situation. I mean, I think what's crazy is when you look at her and her body of work as a whole, and then you throw this part in here.
Uh-huh.
I know for a lot of people, it's going to tarnish that legacy.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really tough. I mean, it's
absolutely, you can't help but do it. And guys, and again, we're talking with Sean and Dave from Barstools and Bad Talk. I look forward to their posts every morning when I turn on the phone. And of course, my good friend John Marhefka from the Top Dog at RFL Records. You guys hang out. We got plenty to get to tonight. But guys, listen, I don't want to knock anybody for their mental illness, but I'm not going to celebrate them for it either. That's the way I look at it.
Well, and this is John. John, if he was in the room, he'd punch me in the face when I'm about to say this. I'm not a fan. But it came out that Tom Brady pretty much played all last season on a torn ACL. Now, say what you want about the man, but the amount of money that he made, he could have sat on the sidelines and let the backup kind of take the reign. I'm not a Tom Brady fan, although every time something happens, he surprises me and whatever outside of football. But that's the thing. He signed on for a job, and he did it to the best of his abilities. And I don't know. I just sports for me right now is just so. I don't know. I have a hard time watching some of it because it's you named it, Tommy. On the back is way more important than what's on the front.
Yeah, it's just Yeah, guys, listen, and John, this is the one place that John and I disagree is on Tom Brady. I can't get him over, Dave. I can't bring him over to us onto the side of he just hates Brady and I. And it's a lot of fun to watch, John. Because again, John's the most mild-mannered guy in the world, the sweetest, nicest man.
Chill.
Until you bring up Tom Brady, and then you start to see the hate coming through the phone, and I crack up every time. But I get it. Listen, I'm a Tom Brady fan since he was in college, so I can't help myself. I think, he's obviously the best there is. But yeah. So I mean, listen, guys, Hard Rocket Sports still here. Our 7th anniversary show, 2021 NFL Training Camp show. We're here every Thursday night. Jeff, myself, Jeff's a little late tonight. He's got some people seeing his house. He's trying to sell his home, so he's got some business going on tonight. So he'll get on when he can. But we got John for a few more minutes. We're going to talk a little bit about the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll talk a little more RFL before we let the boys from Barstool and Band Talk go. Sean, you want to give me a little Giants thought before you get going? Have you picked up enough on the early part of the season to give me some thoughts, or is it too early for you?
I think it's a little too early for me. Really like, that the quarterback that replaced Eli. So we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Eli going in there again, kind of, having this role of trying to rejuvenate the fan base, I think is killer.
Yes, I think it's a great move. Yeah.
Huge move.
Yeah.
The quarterback, I thought the guy, he did a great job last year.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully, he continues to build. A little too early for me. I mean, I'll follow them no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't really know what they're going to be yet.
I think that's an easy, a great observation, because I think this team is right in the middle where it could be. So I have a lot of faith that this team's going to be better than last year, but it's not that far from a downfall team right now.
They'll beat the Cowboys. We know this, but
I'm only praying that they, at the very least, win the division games, beat the Cowgirls, beat the Eagles, and I don't care. Listen, I'll get thrown off the air. Nobody will ever listen to me again. But beat the Redskins. I refuse to call them the Washington football team. I will never do it. Yeah. They're the Redskins. I don't play wokeism, and I can get in trouble for it. People don't want to listen. I could care less. They're the Redskins. So beat the Redskins, the Eagles, and the Cowgirls, and my days are set. After that, it is what it is.
That's fair enough.
But guys, you guys got the big party this weekend, right? Give us some stuff that you guys are promoting, and then hopefully we'll be doing a roundtable soon, so we'll get together and talk even more.
We're talking about doing that next week, actually. So yeah, we have a big party for our lead singer, Michelle Hustle, going on this weekend. It's a free event. We're looking for donations for in the memory of a fallen comrade of ours, a great advocate of maritime music. His name was Ed Levick, and he was a great friend to so many musicians in this area. Just a real true gentleman. Went to so many live shows. In fact, passed away going to a live show. I mean, that was the extent of his dedication towards live music. So we're trying to raise a little bit of money for him. We had an event for him about a week ago, and then another one coming up in September. So we're like, to your point too, Tommy, like, you want to try and give back to those folks who are giving to you, and this gentleman gave a lot for sure. So,
well, I know you have the event, but is there a way people can donate online? Is there a way that people can donate who can't make it up to the show? People listening in our area, do you have a?
You know what we can do? We can float you. We'll float you an email address if they want to donate, and you can post it on your page. That'd be fantastic.
100%. Send me the information. I want to make sure we get it out to the people down here, and we try to contribute. We run fundraisers here, and we support all these kind of events. Anybody who's worthy of it on your end, we would love to help out. So
awesome. I'd like to get one more shout out. So we're promoting, and it takes place tomorrow night. Kyle and Ryan Boudreaux, who play in a band that I play in, are doing a tribute. It's the entire Battle to Hell record. They're going to play it tomorrow night. Sold out show, and they did it about a year and a half ago to a sold out show, and they bring it. It's absolutely incredible. Dave and I are going to be there tomorrow night promoting it. We promoted it for the last couple of weeks. We get the boys that we promote down here, Dolly Van Gogh, who are doing a fundraiser because they're trying to record an album with a very high-level producer. 2 side hustle shows coming up this month, which is fantastic. And we're always on the hunt to promote, and we're always on the hunt to help RFL find that next artist, right, John Boy?
I'm thinking Warren
know about that.
might have a conversation with our good friend John at RFL. What do you think, Sean? Warren, Robert, and Greg Sinclair might want to have a little conversation with John.
Already ahead of you.
These guys blew me away last week, and I went out of my way not to watch their videos ahead of time. But oh my God, the musicianship and the lyrics and the actual prowess of his voice, amazing musicians. And I think you're going to hear this stuff for sure, John. It'll blow your mind. In the meantime, you can check us out at Barstools and Band Talk. There's the logo. You'll find us online, Facebook and YouTube, Instagram. We're trying, and so we're on Twitter, sort of, I guess. But you know what? We're trying to crack into social media. We're doing our best to promote live music, live entertainment in all areas of North America and the world. So we appreciate all your help, and the cross marketing that we all do here is awesome. Tommy, you're on our show tonight. John, every time we do an RFL roundtable, you're on our show as well. We appreciate you guys so much.
Well, I was just about to say, I mean, Tommy Florio has been a guy that from the get-go, just, fellow Giants fan, and John and Doug were like, you're going to love Tommy. He's awesome. Tommy and I clicked right away. We chat all the time on Messenger and stuff. And, what you guys do for us to expose us down there is huge because, when Dave and I started this thing, we weren't really even thinking beyond the city limits of Halifax. So it was going to be a five-week little thing that was going to be over and done with once everything opened up. And it blew out. And, it's very cool to meet folks that I've never actually met face-to-face that I feel like I've known for a million years. And that's going to continue. And it's good because I can talk to Tommy about sports and music, and I can talk to John about music and sports, and we can talk to Douglas about his Cowboys getting their arse kicked. So we're checking a lot of boxes here, boys.
Absolutely, there's a lot of boxes get checked on this ensemble. So I look forward, but I do look forward to the roundtables. I do enjoy the camaraderie that our little thread has, and of course, listen, guys, I love having you on. You're welcome anytime. All you got to do is pick up the phone and reach out and say, I want to come on. No questions asked. You're welcome anytime here.
Thank you, sir.
And,
happy anniversary, Tommy, all the way around.
Thank you, Sean and Dave from Barstools and Band Talk. Guys, please make sure you follow these guys. I check them first thing every morning when I get to work. The first place I go is Barstools and Band Talk to catch up. So, guys, thank you. Much appreciated. And I'll definitely catch you guys soon.
All right.
All right. Take care, guys.
Stay safe.
You guys.
That's it. That's Dave and that's Sean. And I love having those guys around there. They're a lot of fun. So, but now I got my boy John here. John, we're going to talk a little football, but I got to bring on, I have to apologize. I have to bring on my man, Sleazy Top. He's a little late tonight, but I got to get him on. We're going to start talking some football. So let's get Jeff on and finish up with John. I do want to talk about a couple other RFL things before we turn you loose on football, John. All right?
You got it, Tommy.
What's up there, Hefe?
Jeff.
What's up, man? How are you, John?
What's going on, man?
None. Tommy left me sitting there in the fucking breeze for
I'm supposed to disrupt the entire show?
Yes. Hey, listen. Hey,
45 minutes late.
Somebody. I fucking told you ahead of time. I know what this is all about.
What's it all about?
I'm not stupid. I'm not stupid. I know what this is all about. I'm being fucking censored.
You're being censored?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, censored. You can take the glasses off all you want.
Shut up, man. Don't make me start. Don't make me start. Don't make me say things.
The 4 people listening
Jalen Hurts
right now are going to leave soon.
Dak Prescott is going to be the best quarterback in the NFC East this year.
Oh, listen to that. Hopefully, Doug's listening.
Sean, do you know I get
Danny Jones is going to finish 5th.
This is a text message I get all day long.
Don't worry about it. Now, come on, man. Let me read one from Tommy. You don't mind, John? Do you mind if I read a text message from Tommy?
I love those messages because I read you guys on Facebook every day and I crack up.
This is from Tommy. Please stop making fun of the Giants. I actually started to cry when you made fun of Daniel Jones. Please stop. This is from Tommy.
You're showing my actual messages to John?
I didn't show him. I just read them out loud.
He just read them, yeah.
Please. Oh, here's another one. No, Barkley's going to play a whole 16 games this year. Stop the nonsense. Really. Come on. John, how are you, man?
Hey, Jeff, if you want to make him mad here, check this out. Give me 1 second here. Look at that.
Nice. Very nice.
Keep you know how I support the whole league.
Tommy, I do have a nice story for you tomorrow. I will not say it on the air.
You won't?
But I will. But I have an explanation of what happened,
okay,
and one that only you will truly be able to appreciate.
Okay, you got it.
It's one of those things like the day just went like this and just got fucking going, but it's all good.
We all have it. Hey, John, before we get to some football, I want to ask you about the big stream event, which I glossed over for some reason, but August 28th, you got everybody. Mojo, Alice, Mind of Fury, Pressure, Bay Bang, Hydrogen. Is Hydrogen and Westlake doing 2 different things on that? How's Westlake get double billing on this?
He's a star of the show. You know that. Well, actually, the whole thing behind this is it was Doug that started all this. It was actually a surprise to me, you know, for the 5th anniversary. Yeah, so yeah, they brought it up and the guys put it together. Him and Mick from Corners of Sanctuary, and they're the ones that are behind all this. I mean, I wanted to see what they were going to do, and Doug just took it and ran with it. He has Sam involved. He has Mick involved, and
wow,
it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's on Twitch TV or whatever. I mean, it sounds like I'm obviously going to be checking it out, so I'm looking forward to it, and I think that's another great thing. Lots of RFL stuff, but I got to get some football in with you before the show's over. So I'm giving you the opportunity. You got I see your Steelers stuff there. So Jeff, let's let John break down the Steelers before we get to some football.
All right, but wait, I got a couple guidelines that you have to follow.
Here we go.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, one. You cannot complain about Mike Tomlin.
Deal.
You can't complain about Mike Tomlin. A team that is a perennial Super Bowl contender year after year after year. With that, you cannot complain about Mike Tomlin. That's the only thing that I have. Are we cool with that?
That's a deal. I'll keep that under wraps. I'll leave that for Tommy.
Yeah. That'll be fun. I'll do all the one. John, so listen, would you call this a make or break team for this make or break year for this team? I mean, 40-year-old quarterback. I didn't see a lot of big moves enough to keep to get it interesting now. But is this a make or break year? I don't see a big future for this franchise behind Big Ben when he leaves.
That's a good question, Tommy. I mean, I actually thought that the last 2 years were make or break years. I mean, you get to that certain stage, that certain level, and you just can't get over the hump. And it seems like it's the same, issues year after year. I mean, we discussed it the other day. I mean, football, you got to be able to run the ball and you have to be able to stop the run. And it seems like late in the season, these guys can't do either.
Yeah.
And it's something. And another thing too to even point out is the bad tackling, the missed tackles. It's just like the small things, the fundamentals, and that's the reason I'm not going to say his name, but that's the reason I point him out so much. Is the fact that who do you blame on that? I mean, you could blame all the coaches, but fundamentally, I mean, these guys need to get things straight. You need to know where you're at. You need to know the situations. You need to. You need to be able to make plays when you need to make plays, and you can't miss tackles and give a guy an extra, 5 yards and first downs too. They can't get off the field.
Let me ask you something, John. I understand your point, what you're saying, but I mean, being a Jet fan, believe me, I would trade places with you and take Mike Tomlin 3 years ago. All right, but here's my question, and Tommy brought it up, but he let you off the hook easy. I don't think that you got to the end of the year with Roethlisberger. I think you're going to have trouble with Roethlisberger way before midseason. What do you think the backup plan is for this team? And how do you Roethlisberger is the last quarterback from that class with Rivers and Eli. How do you handle that if you're the Steelers? How do you handle moving on from him? Do you cut him at the end of the year when these other two guys were allowed to retire? Pretty much. Well, Rivers was traded, but what do you foresee happening with the Steelers and Big Ben?
Well, they actually threw me a zinger too, because I was telling Tommy when they were going into the draft that, after what Ben did last year, and I thought that was the end. I mean, I really thought that would have been the time I would have started over, personally. But then I look at it and to see what they were looking at too. I mean, you have obviously a Hall of Fame quarterback. The guy still has it in the tank, maybe not entirely. But what they did was that's what Tommy and I talked about it a few days ago. What they did is they kind of built their draft around what he can do best. I mean, you got a stud running back, which they needed. So not only do you have a guy that can run the ball, but he can also, he's a great receiver out of the backfield, which they needed. They needed a check down, which they could rely on. A 3-down back, and bringing Freemuth in from Penn State. They got another guy that's the check down guy. So it's a little bit structured like that. The thing that I'm concerned about is how is the offensive line going to play? That's one of the main things. How are they going to gel?
Yeah, and you know, John, you know, your division has gotten tougher. Now, I'm not a big fan
I
of
was just going to ask that question.
Yeah,
Right.
Go
I
ahead.
think if you look at it, I mean, the Bengals may be a year or two away, especially depending on the health of Burrow. But the Browns are going to be better this year. You know, the Ravens are going to be tough because that's who they are. But I think Cincinnati's not going to be a pushover. So, John, to me, this is a big year for the Steelers right now with a 40-year-old quarterback with nobody up coming in behind him right now.
Right.
This is a big year. Tomlin's on the hot seat. And I know they talked to Big Ben about sticking around another year after this. He better come out and play really well this year. Oh, they're both on the hot seat, John.
I agree, Tom.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Jeff.
I love how Tommy says that, because when it was Eli that was starting to falter, he wanted to keep Eli because I'm only bringing up what you said, that you wanted to keep Eli because of it was you don't want to just replace him with a retread, this, that, and the other thing.
I agree.
But now we got the Steelers in the same exact position, and they've had him 2 years longer than they have Eli.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so it's going to be that much harder to just move on from him. I can't see how you move on from a quarterback like that and just like either cut him or trade him when he's there for that long. It's like a slap in the face. Like, thank you for everything you did, but go on your way.
Right,
you know, so, and I don't think the Steelers kept up with the rest of the pack. I think they all took 2 steps forward. The Steelers were lucky to take a half a step. And I think that's going to be big. They gained a lot of ground on them.
Agree.
The other teams in that division.
I kind of think what they were looking at is how strong the defense is. I mean, you know, if you have a quarterback in there, I mean, he was their best option out of what they have right now. But I personally would have, did the rebuild. But, you know, they didn't go that way. So, you know, now what do we have? I mean, like I said, you got to have a ball control offense. You have to have a shorter passing game because Ben just can't get it down there anymore.
Right.
You know, unfortunately. And then you don't know what kind of protection he's going to get, so you have to stick with that. And then you have to have the defense win games. And that's why I brought up earlier, you know, you need to get off the field, you need to make tackles, you need to make plays. I mean, that unit is going to be what's going to carry this team, at least in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, no, listen, they're going to have to win playing defense, running the football. Now, I love I love their draft. I thought the draft was great. You know, the running back is, you couldn't have did better there. So they're going to build this team around the defense and the running game. And Ben's going to be the Peyton Manning role that Peyton's last year when he won the Super Bowl. Don't make big mistakes. Don't let him carry the team.
That's it. That's exactly it. And I think that's what they were looking at. But Jeff had a good point too. What are we going to do in the future? I mean, what if we get to midseason and everything just collapses? What if Roethlisberger gets hurt? You know, I mean, then what do you do?
Jeff, I think Jeff will finally agree with me on this one. I think most teams out there, if you lose their starter, nobody has that guy anymore. You know, back in the day,
very few.
Right.
So nobody has Roger Staubach and Danny White. Nobody has Phil Simms and Jeff Hostetler. You know, now you every year you got just somebody who's capable of taking snaps. So I think you can put that through the whole league. I can't think of too many teams that can lose their starter and then go ahead and take it to the next level. I don't think that's a possibility anymore, guys. I don't.
No, I agree with you, man. Right. It's a big thing too, because everybody's going to be used to a certain quality of play that Roethlisberger did, and everything that he did for that team, what he stood for with that team, and if he can't handle it, it's a big drop off without a doubt. They already proved that when he got he got hurt a couple years ago. We missed a couple games, like the last 4 games or something in the season. In 19, I think it was. You know, it's these guys get older. Nobody wants to think that they're going to be on their way out one day, but then all of a sudden the time is here, and you know, like you said, he's one bad tackle away, one twist away, and that's it. He could be done.
Yeah, listen. I think it's going to come down to playing defense, the defensive line, and Najee Harris. If they run the ball successfully, again, I think you're going to see one team. I think the Ravens are going to take a step back in that division this year. Okay, I think the Bengals are still a bad team, but they're going to be a better bad team. It's the Browns. What are the Browns this year? everybody's got them, Jeff, 11-5. John, they got them, 11-5 or better, winning the division. This is the Browns' year. I haven't seen it yet, so until I see it, I'm not buying into it. I still think the Steelers are the team to beat in the division right this second.
Listen, the Steelers are older. They're a year older and everything else. The Bengals, like you said, are up and coming. And I think that like you said, the Ravens, I want to see what happens with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
His second bout with COVID, how does he rebound? You know what I mean? Like, does he have a weak immune system that he got it twice?
Yeah.
He's an athlete. You would think that his immune system would be a little bit better than what it is. So I guess time will tell with that, see how he overcomes COVID, if he overcomes COVID. But I think the team to keep an eye on in that division is going to be the Browns. Maybe not 11-5, but I think they're going to be the first place team this year.
Right.
Yeah, John.
They're solid. All the way around. All the way around.
I agree with that. And again, John, the one thing I'm going to laugh when I say this, but I think the big thing that they have is they still have the best coach in that division. I know that's tough to say. I know sometimes you would disagree with me on that point, but I think that's the biggest thing for that team right now is I also don't think I think people are starting to see what Lamar Jackson is and see what they've done in the playoffs to keep him mortal. I don't think he's a great throwing quarterback. He just happens to be a great athlete. So, So I think people are starting to recognize that. I think it's coming to that point where he's kind of on a hot seat to take it to the next level.
Lamar?
Yeah, I think he's on a hot seat.
I don't think he's. They're not going to get rid of him if they don't make it to the next level. But
at some point you got to get past that next level, and if they don't make the playoffs this year,
dude, look at a guy like Dan Marino. You want to talk about somebody that was on a hot seat for most of their career, made it to the Super Bowl once and lost.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean. So they're not going to put Lamar Jackson on that yet either. No way.
I'm not sure about that one, but John. So give me some good, John. Go ahead, keep going.
Well, I'm with Jeff on with Lamar Jackson. Tom, and we discussed that on the phone the other day. Was the league has been trying to build this league of excitement, and these multifaceted athletes, with guys like Lamar Jackson, and and we look back at Randall Cunningham, who I thought was the best quarterback of that style. But now defenses, they figure this stuff out a lot quicker. Than back then. With a guy like Lamar Jackson, he's proven it. The guy's a fantastic athlete. When you look at it that way, but when you look at what he does when his running game isn't working and when he's under pressure and he's contained, and that's where he's proven it right there. And I think, that like you said, this year, I'm not going to say it's going to be make or break for him because they're not going to get rid of him. But I think you're going to see, what this team is really about, as far as the way they use him.
I agree. I just think that at some point, I think they're going to take the step back. I don't think they're winning the division this year, and I think they're going to struggle to win a wild card. I think there are other teams that have gotten better, and I don't think they've gotten better. You could see two wild cards. To me, you could easily see two wild card teams come out of the AFC East.
Did you check the batteries in your carbon monoxide detector?
Why not? The Dolphins could take one, and I'm not counting. And I'm not counting on the Patriots.
No,
I'm not counting.
No, I think that's the Bills division. I don't see anybody else.
I agree. The Bills win the division, but I don't think there's no opportunity that you couldn't get two wild card teams out of the AFC East this year.
Nah, I don't see it, dude.
Again, I'm not telling you that's my picks. I'm just saying that there are opportunities out there for teams.
Well, there's opportunities in every division, of course, but I just don't see that division right off the bat. The Dolphins are suspect. They don't even know if Tua is their quarterback beyond game 2. That's one thing. The Patriots, they drafted Mac Jones, whatever the fuck his name is, and Cam Newton. They don't even know what's going on with him. He sucked last year. And the Jets. Christ almighty, fucking Zach Wilson looks like he belongs in 8th grade. Maybe he's getting ready to go to the fucking 8th grade formal instead of going to play football. He looks like he weighs about $145 with his stupid ass headband. So I'm not putting too much faith in there. I don't know. Maybe the three of us could go play in the AFC East and win the wild card. How's that?
I didn't put the Jets in that category. I promise you, I didn't put the Jets in that
If
category.
you talk the AFC East, that brings the Jets right to the top of the pile. It's just the rule.
Hard Rocket Sports, that's Jeff. I'm Tom, and that's our good friend John Marhefka. He's the top dog over at Alpha Records. And, of course, the Talk in the Fast Lane podcast, which had a great show the other night with BJ on there. So, John, you've done a great job. How does it feel being behind the mic during the shows? Have you gotten more – you seem more comfortable doing it now. I love the your body language is so good, so comfortable now. You feel like you're a seasoned pro.
It's getting better. I mean, that's why I watch you guys. I mean, it's I see it's smooth. I mean, you kind of you got to watch people that have done it for a while and see how they do it, and then it's definitely more comfort. It just comes from doing it and really enjoying the people that you talk with too. I mean, BJ and that band and his band Spectra. Jeff Scott Soda took those guys under his wing, and he's worked with Jeff for so long, and that's an amazing band. But it's really cool to see guys like that. That's that are. He's not just starting out. I mean, it's a new band, but to see a band's debut, and at that level it's really amazing. It's great to hear him too, because he comes across. He's really enthusiastic, and you can see his passion. For what he's done. I mean, it's amazing.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. It was a great interview. I got to watch about probably the first 10 or 15 minutes. I listened solid, and then I was in and out doing shit for the show. But I love listening to it, and I love the RFL stuff, and I love all the stuff that's coming up. It's funny. I was going through your Facebook page just making sure I had an idea what's coming up, and I'm looking. Westlake's got stuff coming out, and the Corners of Sanctuary guys got stuff coming out, and Turbo Snake just put stuff out. Jeff Carlson's got stuff, and now I'm starting to see shows, which is really even more. So between the day job and the family and RFL, there's not much time for anything else. Not much time for fishing, John. That's for sure.
It's crazy, but we are going Sunday, so I'm pretty excited about that. And there's plans to go the weekend after, so it's
nice.
Where do you go fishing for, John? Freshwater? You don't go saltwater fishing, right?
Now we're fishing. We're fishing some of the lakes around here. I mean, I hit the rivers because they're close by here, but there's a couple really nice lakes about an hour and a half away.
What do you get?
Let's see. We went end of June. I mean, obviously a lot of catfish. I mean, some really big cats, perch, bass.
Perch are pretty cool to catch. I remember going fishing. I was into fishing about 30 years ago, and I went up to Pennsylvania, and perch. All you had to do was throw a line in the water. They bit at anything, but they were cool. They gave you a little fight. Just got a real thin pole, and I mean they're only like that big, but they were cool fish to catch. You never went fishing, Tom?
I went fishing twice in my life, only twice.
I guess it didn't catch on. Huh?
The first time I went fishing was in St. Martin, and I went with Gary Barbario and Don Mansueto, and we were out about 20 minutes, and we hooked a marlin.
Oh,
nice!
And we fought. The three of us taking turns fought a marlin for about an hour and a half.
Oh!
It got to about 6 feet from the boat.
No way!
And Gary was on the line, and the marlin came up, shook its head, the line came off, and off went the marlin.
Oh!
I would tell you physically, one of the toughest things I've ever had to do. I played sports my entire life. I've done tons of stuff. That was physically one of the toughest things I've ever had to do. Just
Big
10
time.
minutes. Just
Big
trying
time.
to, holy, you can't experience it. And you're watching those fishing shows. You're like, that's a fish. Reel it in.
Right.
When you're behind that thing and the guy comes flying down, throws the pole between my legs, and he goes, "Have you ever fished before?" I said, "Never fished in my entire life." Well, he said, "Get ready." And sure enough, you feel, Jeff, every muscle in my body was just like tense.
First of all, how big was the marlin?
They estimate, I'm going to say he estimated 250 pounds and like 8 feet long.
Okay. Imagine a 250-pound muscle that does nothing but swim from when it's born. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This thing is like a conditioned athlete, bro.
Oh, my
You
God.
ain't going to reel that thing in. Stick with perch, man. All you got to do is walk backwards, just come up on the shore.
That's it.
That was one of my experiences. We went out on a rowboat in the middle of Rhode Island. for 3 hours and caught nothing. So
Really, in a lake and you caught nothing?
River Lake caught nothing. So
Jeez, man,
that
the
was it.
fishing gods hate you.
Yeah, so I said, you know what? I should have quit. I got a good fishing story. I hooked a marlin, and I should quit right there. So,
Who actually hooked the marlin?
well, it was on one of those charter boats. So it's the three of us. It was our wives at the time, and the guy sets up like 8 poles all around. And
Oh,
all of a
okay.
sudden- All of a sudden, you heard the zzz, the line goes out, and the captain, literally comes flying off the top deck. He goes, sit in a chair. I sat in a chair, and he threw the pole between my legs, and he strapped it in. He goes, you ever fished before? I said, never. He goes, well, get lucky. He goes, get ready. Here it comes. And I was like, holy shit. That was it. So technically, I will take credit for hooking it because I was the first guy on the pole.
And then they were reeling in all the other lines, right? Getting them out of your way.
Yes, got everything
Because
out
that
of the way.
thing is going all over the fucking place.
Yeah, and it was on
Right.
the road. It was,
Yeah.
it was steering the boat, back it up, follow the fish. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, 10 minutes. Every 10 minutes we were switching off because listen, I was 23, 24 years old. I was probably in the best shape of my life, and I physically was exhausted.
Fish was
Everything.
kicking the shit out. 250-pound fish, bro.
Yeah,
That's fucking huge.
That was a big.
You still have that shit in your freezer.
I think
Yeah, you
Gary this day still has the video. We had video. His wife was taking videos of it, and you see the head of the fish come up out of the water, and you can see it just looks at us, shakes the head, and the hook comes flying out.
Oh,
Oh, the effer. So Gary lost both fish. We hooked a barracuda later on, and he lost that too. So,
really?
yes.
Well, you couldn't have started any better than that, Tommy. I mean, you went right to the top.
Exactly. So at that point, I said, "Screw it! I'm gonna call it a day. Never do
Dude,
it again."
that's like such a big game fish, bro.
Oh,
Right.
horrendous.
Nice.
But that's my fishing story. But John, give us the prediction for the season for the Steelers. Where are you putting them? First, second? How many wins? How many losses?
I'm going to say 10-6. I still think.
Don't
as
forget.
much
Don't
as I
forget.
hate-
Start. There's 17 games this year, John.
or 10. All right,
17 games.
we'll say 10-7. We could say 11-6.
There you go. I like that.
I think.
better.
I don't know. I think I still think Cleveland is the top of the division, and the reason I say that is because of youth. You know, I mean, you get to the end of the season and you're playing against these young teams. It's tough for the older guys to handle that beating, and I think that's a lot of part of what Pittsburgh did last year. You know, you saw those guys wear out, but I still think they're going to contend. I think my pick for the AFC is Buffalo. I just think that's a solid team all the way around. I just think they can do so many things well. You know, strong defense, strong on both sides of the ball. You got a great quarterback now who's seasoned. You know, he got to go through some of that last year in Allen, and I hate predicting anything because it's so tough. You know, especially because one injury and your prediction is shot.
Yeah. But I got the game. I got the Cowboy Steeler games on the TV right now. John's gonna probably get off and go. Are you gonna call Doug and tell him go scratch his asses? And hi Sam Bones on. Hi Sam, how are you? And by the way, Matt Salitri, it's preseason. I don't want to hear about Cowboys in the fumble. Please, Cowgirl fans using the worst. Enjoy the wins now, Matt. You ain't winning many games this year.
You know what? The last thing I would want anybody on my team right now to be doing is running after a fumble in the first preseason game. I would take them out of the game. They would never play another preseason game again.
That's it.
You're like, you drop the ball, just let it fucking go. Let them run after it and kill it. When it means something, then you could go after the ball.
Exactly.
That's it. Just tag them. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Just make sure you don't run for the end zone. And if you can't get him, just let him go. It means nothing.
Exactly right.
It is. It's totally meaningless.
Yeah, it is. But you know what? It's I got it on the screen. It looks really nice. It's Cowboys Steelers.
How's the crowd, Tom?
I can't see it, Jeff. I just literally turned it on as we were speaking because I saw Matt put up on Bustin' Balls, obviously, to create some yes, got it. I haven't seen it yet, but I guess they have a full crowd. I haven't seen a shot of the crowd yet, so I'll keep it on the
Just
screen.
Just curious.
Yeah, and I don't
They
know.
probably will.
Yeah. So, but John, listen. Good luck with the Corners of Sanctuary dropping tomorrow. Blood and Steel. I love Casualties of War. Thank you and Doug and everybody. Mick and everybody for letting me hear it and let me play it on the show. So thank you as always. And my best to you on all the stuff coming up. And don't be a stranger, my friend. We got a lot of football to talk about this year.
Oh, you know it, Tommy. Anytime you want to talk football or You and Jeff, I mean, both you guys. You know how much I love this show and being on and being able to talk with you guys. I mean, it's my favorite sports show. So
Thanks,
I
my
tell
brother.
everybody about it. So
Appreciate
you gotta-
that, man.
everybody
Thank
out there needs to tune in. Just keep listening. Spread the word, man. These guys
Please.
are great.
We're doing this 7 years. We got to get more than 3 people. We can hold the show in a phone booth at this point.
That's all right. It's a comfy phone booth.
Exactly right. But John,
It's a
listen,
good time, man.
everybody should check out rfrorecords.com. All the bands they got the big live stream coming up on the 28th that John was surprised about. Lots of great bands. Westlake's got stuff popping. That guy's a character, and of course, tell Dougie when you talk to him on the phone because he says he's going to call you in half an hour. Tell Doug I said hello, and he didn't come on. He was the first person I invited on, and he didn't even get back and say yes or no. So tell him I said he's on the shit list right now.
I'll bust him.
There you go. Johnny boy, I love you. Good luck with everything going on. Keep in touch, my friend.
Love you too, guys. Have a good show.
Thanks,
Thanks
John.
a lot. Thanks for having me.
Be good, man.
Take care,
See
Johnny
you guys.
boy. That's John Mahefka,
Be good.
RFO Records. He's the big dog over there and a good friend of ours for the show. But, Jeff, we got a lot of football talk. I spoke to Frank Jeffrey. He's going to come on next week.
Okay.
So I want to get to a lot of stuff. First, I want to get out there. The Boss Tools and Band Talk guys, they have a paypal.me//Skin and Jones. If you want to contribute a few dollars for their they're collecting some money for a dear friend who passed away, I guess for a family. So if you want to send some money, paypal.me/Skin and Jones to contribute. And thanks to Sean and Dave, they're good guys. I really like them. Jeff, next Wednesday night is another round table. Hopefully you'll be able to join us on that one.
It would be nice if I'm invited. Yeah,
You're
I will
invited.
do my best to get on there.
Yep. So while we're waiting on the half man for his new nickname before he comes on, let's do a little. First off, Jeff, how was your week?
Tom, it was a different kind of week. You know, we got the house up for sale.
Okay.
All right, which was kind of not a rush decision. We've been talking about it for a while, and it finally happened. But this week, we had a couple people come over, and interesting stuff going on. With there was an interesting one today, which I really can't get into for specifics, but I'll gladly tell you the story because I'm pretty sure that you'll pretty much think it's hysterical.
Okay.
And probably say you wish that there was a different outcome, just like I would.
Okay. Okay. I'm looking forward to
But other than that, always looking forward to the show, especially the football kickoff for the football. It's like it's here already, man.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
What
We
the
just,
fuck
we
happened?
just did the Super Bowl show,
Yeah.
I have to tell you, but I'm stoked for this show. I'll tell you what, before the show. First off, happy anniversary to you as well. This is our 7-year anniversary.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
And
happy anniversary to you, man. You're the one that created this and has kept it going. So
well, we do it together. And like I tell everybody, this is a 50-50 show, Jeff and I. This is our baby. We have some fun with it. But no matter what is going on, the show is built for football. I mean, I think it's, when from this point in the year, July through February, and of course you got the combine, you got the draft, all the stuff we do. But this show functions and lives and breathes even bigger because of football season. Because
I agree.
We eat it up. We'll spend 2 hours a show just talking football, and then we get everything. And I want to get a couple other things in before we dive into football. But I want to say again, thank you to Jim Galicchio for writing the theme song, my brother for the intro, to Joe Gansas, Nick Marino for being the producers of the show. Everybody who listens every week, I can't thank you guys enough. And every week it seems to get more and more people. Thanks to people like John Mahefka, to the guys at Band Talk, Boss Tools and Band Talk. They're great guys. And especially my dad who checks in every week. He was disappointed not to talk to you this week, but he's had to say hello anyway. So he wished us.
I'm sorry.
No,
unfortunately, we had people that were interested in the house, and this part I could tell you on the air. We had people that were interested in the house, and they were supposed to come tomorrow at 8:00, but they were so interested in the house they asked if they could come today at 7. So we were like, well, of course, whatever. And that's why They were hunkered down in my house while I was outside with my dog, who was extremely pissed off that she wasn't inside, getting rid of the threat.
Uh-huh.
But you know that's Basil. So
That's
you know how that
Basil.
goes.
Yes.
Yeah, you know how that goes. And you know everything. We will find out maybe tomorrow if there's anything pending.
Well,
Yeah.
real quick, what? So if you get an offer tomorrow, but you guys haven't found a new house yet, right?
No, but that's the least.
Okay, so
That's the least. I'm pretty sure that we'll find something. When we are motivated, Tom, living outdoors in the late summer, early fall wouldn't be too bad. So we would kind of like to have shelter in place by, say, the end of October
I would
to
say
mid-November sometime. So we have some time, but we'll make it work.
I'm sure you will, and I wish you good luck then, and I wish you good luck now. Hopefully, you guys
Thank you.
will find something you really love, and you'll be able to find somebody who will love to take your house. It's a nice little house, and I'm sure you won't be having that much of a hard time finding somebody to take it from you guys. So, good luck.
I'm here's hoping, but that's we need to get into the heart of the matter here.
All right, so let's get into it. First, before we get to football, I got to bring it up because I talked about it before the show. It's been on there a few times. You know, I went to a little bit of a rant on the Simone Biles mental health at the Olympics. Won't bore you with my Olympic theories and stuff, but my take on it, Jeff, so you know, was, hey, if you have a mental problem and you don't think you can compete, by all means, step aside. There's no shame in your game. Do what you got to do. But the minute you step on that field and you accept the mantle or you accept the colors to go out there and compete for your country, Jeff, you got to step up. And I've been saying this through the show. Pressure is a privilege. And if you can't handle the pressure, let somebody else do it. And I have no respect for Simone Biles and what she did and her coming back to compete at the end. Who cares? As far as I'm concerned, your legacy is shot. You got it. You got a theory on this? You want to pass right by it?
No, I got a couple things to say. First of all, I really haven't been paying any attention at all to the Olympics for a lot of different reasons. Okay, mostly because of the women's soccer team. Second of all, yeah, it's the Summer Olympics, so I find them kind of boring. I like the Winter Olympics a lot better. But I will say this much: this woman, these are people that train from as far back as they possibly can to get ready for this moment and get into the Olympics to represent your country and to be the best in the world at what you do, to go for a gold medal, something that people, if you win it in a strong fashion, people will always remember your name. People will always remember Bruce Jenner and everything that he did.
Yep.
Okay. But that's another story for another day. Back to this young lady.
Okay.
If you felt as though that you're not going to be able to do it, then why let people think that you're going to go through it and go there and compete in the events that you were supposed to compete in, all of them, and try to win the gold medal instead of just turning around and saying, you know what, let somebody else go who could be behind this 110%. I don't want to take away from somebody else.
Agreed.
Maybe somebody else missed out on being on the Olympic team by 1/1000th of a second.
Yeah.
Okay. Because maybe they had an extra bite of toast and it slowed them down. You know what I mean? So like you got to think who could have replaced her and all of that good stuff. But don't hold back somebody else. Don't, because you're not sure of what's going on. If you have an issue and you don't think that you're going to be 100% into it, step out. Let the next guy go in and let them have a fighting chance. You know, it sucks, but don't go there to champion your cause. I don't think that that's cool at all.
Yeah, and I certainly can't celebrate her doing it. I'm sorry. I don't think it's caused any. Oh, she's such a hero for highlighting mental illness. No, she's mental.
For what?
Yeah, that's my point.
But you know what? Every day then I should be a fucking hero and a half. You should be a hero and a half. How about this? Gee, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pay the mortgage on time because I don't get paid till the second. It's due the first. You know, my wife hates me right now because I stained her shirt, and you know, it makes me depressed because I this, that, and the other thing. Like just everyday life depresses everybody. And you know, I understand it's a shame that you had some problems. It's a shame what happened to her, but you know, come on. you like you said, you're there. You know that you were going where you would end up being if you won all the time trials and everything else that you had to win to get to that position. But you allowed yourself to get to that position, and you're like, no, I'm not. I can't do it. That's not fair to everybody else behind you that could have been there.
I agreed, and the teammates that went out there for you and the whole bit. So I'm not celebrating it. I don't think it's a great thing. I'm just not going to sit there and applaud her doing it. So I think it tarnishes her legacy, in my opinion. And if I were her teammates, or yes, even more so, Jeff, if I'm the woman, if I'm the girl who got left off if I'm the last person who didn't get onto the team and could have had that opportunity, yeah, I'm going to be a little pissed off at that. So something I want to get to. Let's get to football, Jeff. This is what we're doing here. It's a 2021 NFL training camp show. This is what we do. Let's get into football. And I was going to go, let's see. Let's see. How do I want it? Let's go Aaron Rodgers. I want to get that out of the way. Did you listen to the press conference at all this week? Did you hear his press conference?
No, and the reason I didn't is because I hate to admit this,
Go ahead.
and I'm not, and I don't hate to admit this because of who said it, but I hate to admit it because you turned out to be 100% right. Aaron Rodgers kind of like did this for attention. It's like he threw a hissy fit, and then all of a sudden they did something to appease him. And it's like, well, okay, I'll come back then. Oh, so what was the point of all of this? Why did you throw your hissy fit on draft night? Was this something to take to take away from everything else the team was going through or whatever? Like, I don't understand that. I don't understand it. It turns out kudos to you for getting it pretty much right, hitting it right on the head. They did something with his contract, and all of a sudden he was happy again. But are you kidding me? Really, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I mean, he sat there in his press conference saying how he wanted to teach them that they should treat former players better. They released so-and-so and they didn't go for this guy a better contract.
So in other words, you had no idea what the fuck you were talking about. You just dicked out and did it. That's all.
Yeah. And again, it's all about me. And I got to tell you, I'm a quiet Packer fan. I like the Packers. I always root for them. If they're not playing the Giants, I'm in. I will tell you that as long as he's on that team, I won't root for the Packers. I have to root against them. I think he's a douchebag. Here's what I would say. If I had a chance to interview Aaron Rodgers or talk to him, I would say, Aaron, you want to be the GM? What gives you the right to be the GM? What if the GM came down and said, hey, Aaron, you're not throwing that ball in the flat well. I think you should do this. Let me take a run over there and take a shot at it. He would tell him, get the frig off the field. You're not a quarterback. You're not a GM. You don't know anything about it. You want to keep your friends around. That doesn't work this way. And there's a reason why you've been to the NFC Championship game 2 years in a row, and you lost it because you played like shit. So that's what I would say if I was talking to Aaron Rodgers, Jeff.
Listen, Tom, it's you can't disagree with it. You can't disagree with it. You threw up illusions about your team. You became the back page champion for a couple of weeks. Everybody was like, well, what's happening now? And it was all analyzing. Everything just blew up about that. Yeah. And after a while, it was like so tired of hearing it because what was the problem? How can you hold an organization hostage? Yeah. Because now you set a precedent there. So that means the next person is going to try the same shit somewhere down the line. And I just don't think it's right. It's not right.
I agree with you 100%, Jeff. So we'll get to more about we'll go through the divisions a little bit. We'll try to run through the divisions if we have time. And listen, guys, football starts now, so we'll be going through football for the next 6 months. So sit back and get your drink. We'll be doing a lot of football in the near future. So hang in there, Jeff and Tom on the Hard Rocket Sports Show. Jeff, let's talk about the top stories in the NFL right now. Going to the thing. Aaron Rodgers was probably the biggest story in the NFL going in. But right now, I got a few stories that I think I'm curious. You have any stories you want? You want to go first? You want me to go first?
You go first. You're bringing it up. Go ahead. I got my stories.
Okay. My first big story, obviously, is Deshaun Watson. And these are in no particular order. It's curious. He showed up to camp. He's been at every practice except for one or two. I don't think he's practiced very much. My question is, At what point does the NFL tell the Texans whether he can play or not? And at this point, with everything that's going on, Jeff, can they let him play?
That's a good question. I know that the Texans will all of a sudden now open to trading him.
Yeah,
And,
they have to be.
Of course. I mean, you're so stupid. You could have let this guy go I'm sure if they had an inkling of what was going to happen,
Yeah.
of course they would have done this. They would have traded him.
Mm-hmm.
But listen, it is what it is. I'm sure there's a lot of teams that came close and were probably like, oh, thank God, saying novenas every day that they didn't have enough to pull the trigger on that.
Your team's one of them. You were a proponent a little bit of them making that trade.
Yeah, yes, I was. But the reason I was is because if they had given up 3 of those 4 picks to get Watson, okay, well, before we knew all of this,
sure, of course,
2 of them could have been Seattle's picks.
Yes.
So to me, you're playing like, so in other words, you traded 1 number 1 and Jamal Adams for Deshaun Watson. I think that's a championship trade in your favor.
Absolutely.
So, but it is what it is, and it didn't happen. Thank God.
Yeah, thank God. So that's my first story, Jeff. My second one is welcome back fans, and I would tell you, I think it's a huge story. I think the fans being back. I've seen a lot of interviews. The players seem pumped about it. It's a sign of semi-normalness. Although we're all hearing about these different mask mandates that might happen, and remind me to tell you, I got a little vaccination story to tell you. But I think the fans.
Your vaccination.
Well, a vaccination. I'll give you some. I'll give you some details there. Well, I'll stop right now and tell it to you real quick. So I told you about my wife has to have was mandated to basically threatened with termination if she didn't get it.
Yeah, I'm getting that too.
Yeah. So my wife, since we've been back from Florida, has really been, beside herself, not wanting to do it, but not wanting to lose her job. We've talked about every scenario in the world. We've talked about everything else. And turned out today, my wife went to work. The last day before, she has about a week off now. Just schedule works that way. And she decided to go get the vaccination and got it. And I had made her a promise that if she went and got vaccinated, that in support of her, I would get vaccinated as well. So I will be getting the vaccination against my better judgment, against her better judgment, but to support my wife and be a good partner, I am going to do it now for her. So,
well, listen, listen. There is no right, there is no wrong, because we don't know. Okay, I feel the same way as you do. You know that.
Yep.
Okay, so, but I am also in a different position. My wife went and got the vaccine,
right?
And I stood behind her in her decision. I wish that she didn't have to,
right?
But she was kind of going to be in the same boat that I'm in, where you were going to have to get it or whatever.
Right.
So now it's up to me. I could either go for tests that it looks like I'm going to have to start going for tests on my own time, or I could just go get the vaccine,
right,
and whatever, and just hope that I make it through the vaccine and whatever. So I still don't know what I'm going to do as of yet. My wife tried talking me into it yesterday, but I may have no choice, because if they turn around and they make it a federal mandate, who knows what's going to happen? Are they going to threaten people's driver's license? I have a federal driver's license, a CDL.
Right.
It's not a state driver's license. I may have no choice if I feel as though that I'm going to continue to work, which I have no choice but to continue to work.
Right.
I may have to go get it. But listen, Tom, I applaud you for standing behind your wife, without a doubt, and I think that's a very cool thing on your part.
Yeah.
That you didn't just push her in and be like, well, good luck, sweetie. And you got that website for those Russian mail order brides by any chance? Just in case, you know what I mean?
Just in case. Well, let's hope it doesn't come to that. We are celebrating our 11th wedding anniversary tomorrow, Jeff. So.
Oh, wow. Good for 11 years.
I'm hoping she doesn't sprout a tail. That's all I can say.
Well, you better hope that she don't sprout something else and say, guess who's going to be the missus tonight?
Very true. Hard Rock and Sports, Jeff and Tom.
Did you get any mail?
Yes, the mail did come. It has not been dispersed yet, but we did get the mail. Yes.
Or maybe tomorrow it'll be dispersed.
It's very possible tomorrow night the mail will be dispersed. So we'll keep you updated on that one. So we got
No,
welcome.
that's okay. I don't need updates.
We got welcome back fans for me, Jeff. I think having fans back in the building will make it seem more like football again. Would you agree?
Well, of course. Yeah, of course, without a doubt. Listen, we've talked about this for a year.
Yep.
Okay, and we felt as though that things should have opened up hell of a lot sooner than what they did.
Yep.
And it's just every single time that things get going and the wheels start to move, somebody else throws a fucking wrench in the works. But you know what? Let the fans back in. Let the fans back in. Fauci already said there's going to be no more lockdowns. You know what? We're going to let you have the final say and whatever. You want to go? By all means, go. You don't want to go? Stay home. That's all.
That's it. I couldn't agree more. So welcome back, fans. My second one, I'm gonna say social justice and gay football players is my next one, big story. Again, we're still dealing with the social justice. I don't know to what extent. So I think that's important, and I think it's a big story, Jeff, because I'm curious now. Last year the NFL did a lot of things with nobody in the building and no repercussions. I'm curious, if the quote unquote Black national anthem is played first or second, and some people kneel for the regular anthem, how will the everyday folk take to the Black national anthem? Will there be booing? Will people turn their backs? Will nothing happen? I think it's a big story that probably won't get told because you're probably gonna the networks are probably going to ignore it, and the only thing you'll see is on social media.
You're going to hear the story, I think, but I agree. I don't think that it's going to be told live on TV, but you're going to hear about it. You're going to read about it. You're going to see clips about it.
Yeah,
you're going to see it.
Yeah, I'm curious to see. I don't know how it's going to happen if that goes first or the regular national anthem goes first. But I think if you start to see people disrespecting, especially the players, during the national anthem, I'm curious to see how the everyday folk in New Jersey and in Florida, how they react to the initial anthem being played, and if that gets covered by the networks or I think social media will have a lot of fans posting stuff about it. But I'm curious to see how that plays out. And I hope it's not an issue, but I think it will be an issue this year.
Probably.
So that's that's my second one. That's my third story. My next story will be, again, we talked about a little bit, NFL forcing players to get vaccinated or penalizing teams severely this year with not only forfeit games, Jeff, but penalizing both teams where both teams won't get paid to do it.
Yeah, it's fucked up, man.
Yep. So I think that's a big one. And again, as always, it'll always be in there, Jeff. It's the quarterbacks. Carson Wentz out 5 weeks. I think it's 5 to 12 weeks. What happens there? Can Jalen Hurts handle the pressure in Philadelphia? Is it Drew Lock versus what's his name? Bridgewater, Winston or Tamsin Hill? What happens now with Aaron Rodgers? Can Sam Darnold resurrect his career? How long does Jimmy Garoppolo hold off Trey Lance? Is it Foles, Fields, or Dalton? And listen, my own backyard, Danny Dimes. It's a big year. To me, the big story is quarterbacks, Jeff. Which of those quarterbacks steps up and has the big years, Jeff?
I don't know, dude. It's there's a lot of questions as far as quarterbacks, and I'll tell you the truth. Our lists are, as much as they're different, they're always somewhat similar, and that is definitely a category that I touch base on with mine. So everybody wants to know. I mean, listen, quarterbacks. You got Rodgers, you got Big Ben. Is he going to make it throughout the season? Tom Brady at 43. What happens? Is Donald, like you said, is he worth it? The Wilsons, both Russell and Zach.
Yeah.
How is Russell to be looked upon this year? Zach Wilson. Is he an NFL quarterback? Donald, is he going to make it? I say no. Stafford and Goff.
That's a good one. I forgot about that. That's a good one. Yeah.
Okay. Jameis Winston and whoever down in New Orleans.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. Now, let's throw another wrench in the work real quick. Phillip Rivers has said that he's open to the idea of coming back. Yeah. RG3 just signed a contract with ESPN, had a provision put in his contract that he can go back to the NFL if he was offered a job. So we both were interested in the quarterbacks, without a doubt. Number 2 for me, for hot seat, I got to go with the Giants team. The entire team, from general manager, not so much the coach, but general manager, a lot of different players, Barkley, Jones, Galladay, big free agent signing. The kid that they got out of wherever it was, that wide receiver, they stacked up on wide receivers, but it ain't going to mean anything if that line can't block and Jones can't throw the ball. So that would be the hot seat for me. Third, the shift of power in the AFC North. I'm thinking that it's trending more towards Bengals and Browns and Ravens than it is Steelers.
I agree with you on that. I agree. I do agree with you.
I'm going to say this year, I'm going to go Browns, Ravens, Steelers, Bengals. And the only reason I'm not bringing the Bengals up, I think they're going to be a better team, but the reason they're not in third or second is because Joe Burrow was coming back from an injury. So I think that it's going to take some time for him to get acclimated. Number 4, I kept this one in a category all his own. Carson Wentz. Guy just sustained a fucking foot injury. What is this, like 3rd out of 5th season, 5 seasons he's been in the league that he's had an injury? Is this the last stop for him? Does Philip Rivers go back to the Colts?
Yeah, listen, what? That's a possibility, ability that you could see him mid-season. He said he wants to finish up. He's coaching high school, his son's high school team. But I could see a scenario where right now, who's quarterbacking it? He's out 5 weeks or better.
Well, right now, Philip Rivers did say that if he had to show up to camp, he'd be considered overweight. So God knows how much he's packed on. But bringing up the rear, and number 5 is one that I'm surprised you didn't make mention of.
Which is?
But 17 games.
Oh, yeah.
How does the 17th game, what does it do to the schedule, to the season, especially with COVID? I think the NFL is insane for enacting a 17th game during a pandemic. And then tell the players, well, listen, if the guys on that team can't make it, you're not getting paid either.
Yeah.
I'd be like, well, fuck you. I'm getting paid one way or another. You got to be fucking kidding me.
Yeah, listen, it's but again, agreed to by the
NFLPA, right?
Yeah, they've agreed to this. So here it is, Jeff. This is simply a way to try to get more of the players vaccinated. And the idea is if 85% of the team is vaccinated and you have problems, you're okay. You don't forfeit any money, and they're going to force these kids to get it. That's what this is all about. It's a bullying tactic. I don't care what anybody tells me, whether it's the city.
Tom, it's bullying. It's bullying across the board.
Yes.
Or however you want to say it, whatever you want to say. This is bullying across the board.
100%.
Okay. When everything was okay and everything was fine, and they said that we need 70% and everything will be fine, and they were falling short, then all of a sudden it's like the evil stuff started to happen. You know what I mean? And it's just unbelievable what they're doing. It's not right. It's not right.
I agree.
It's not right.
And again, whether it's the NFL doing it to players, or the city of New York doing it to their workers like yourself, or my wife's hospital, they got the gun to your head, and they can tell you all you want that it's a choice and freedom. I'll tell you a quick story. I went to Food Shop Sunday. I got back from Florida on Friday night, relaxed all day on Saturday. Sunday, I decided to go food shop early in the morning, and there's about 10 miles up the road, right off the exit 9. There's a Walmart. I like to go there. They have a little bit of everything. I like their meat selection. And regardless, I go walking in like any other day, and a woman comes running up to me with one of those just fake masks that they give out, those cheap masks. And she goes, "Sir, we recommend that you wear a mask." So I said, "I'm sorry, I didn't see a sign. Do you? Do I have to wear a mask?" "No, sir. We recommend that you wear a mask." I said, "So, do I have to wear a mask?" She said, "Well, we do recommend you wear a mask." So I said, "You're not." I said, "Can I shop here if I don't have a mask?" She said, "No, we recommend you wear a mask." I said, "So you're not recommending me? You're ordering me to wear a mask?" "No, sir, we just recommend. So can I shop here without the mask?" you cannot shop without the mask. I said, then you're not recommending me, you're ordering me, and I'm not going to shop here. I left the cart. I walked out. I drove 3 miles down the road to another Walmart, Jeff. Walked in the door. Nobody asked me to wear a mask.
Amazing.
It's no rhyme or reason. Nothing on the door. Nothing says, hey, we want you to wear a mask. We recommend. Okay, you're not recommending. You're telling me I have to. No. We're recommending. You're not recommending. So
amazing.
Yeah. So that's I literally walked out. I said, I'll go someplace else and shop. I will find some place that doesn't require me to wear a mask. Gives me the option because that's what life's all about. I should have an option. But we don't have
well, listen, you know what, dude? I went into a store a couple weeks ago. It was not Target, TJ Maxx.
Okay.
TJ Maxx Home Goods. Okay. So I didn't have a mask with me. And this was like at the very first, when they were first dropping the masks.
Yep.
So I went in and there was some girl in the front and I seen her. Or did I have the mask in my pocket? I might have had the mask in my pocket. And I was like, I held it up. I was like, do I have to wear this? That's what I had in my pocket. So do I have to wear this in here? And she goes, no, you don't have to wear it. But we would rather. And like she started to tell me that they would rather. So I was just like, oh, cool. Thank you. And I just kept walking.
Yeah.
Well, I'm like, fuck you. I'm not putting this fucking mask on. You know, for how long I went in there. How do they know there's a variant?
Yeah.
And how are they testing it to see if people even fucking have it? Is there a special test for this Delta variant? You know?
I got it. Jeff. Believe me. How did it get here? How do we got it? To me, this was just another way to control things. And I'm sorry, I'm not buying.
You know how it got here?
How?
I'll tell you how it got here.
Sure.
Because you're allowing people, you're making people wear masks and everything else, which is lowering their resistance to certain things. Then all of a sudden, you're telling people that they could take the mask off and everything else. And what happens? Lo and behold, now there's the Delta variant.
Yeah.
Now, what would have happened if they turned around and they were like, you know what? Just stop with the masks. Stop with the masks.
Mm-hmm.
The disease, the virus isn't as strong as it once was. It's getting weaker.
Mm-hmm.
The more healthy people we have, the more people that get it and beat it, the sooner we put it to sleep and we're done with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
what do you think happens to colds in the wintertime?
Absolutely.
By the time the spring comes, they're done. You know, all you did now at this point in time, the way they handle this is are we going to wear masks forever? Because that's what it certainly fucking seems like at this point.
Yeah, because again, I tell people all the time, you told me that if you got a shot, you're fine. What does it matter if I wear a mask or I have a shot? And I can't get answers to it. Nobody can answer it because they haven't figured it out, and it's just they're throwing darts at a wall and whatever. So it is what it is, but it is it's annoying, and until people fight back, and like I said, how do you fight? I mean, at this point, I don't know how you fight back. I really don't. So I haven't.
Well, you know what? What you need is for every single person that you know what. Every single person that they say you need to get this shot or you don't have a job.
Right.
Fuck you. I'm not getting it. Every single person needs to turn around and say, I'm not getting it. Fuck you.
That's the problem. And my wife feels the
And they
same
won't.
you do, but they're not. There's too many people saying yes. And people just going, okay, whatever they say I should do, I'll do it. And, you know, me, I'll fight to the death. But like I said, support my wife is what I'm doing. But let's stay on football a little bit. I want to talk about, before we get too far out, I want to go back to some of the quarterbacks you brought up, and two in particular is Goff and Stafford. You know, a lot of people, Jeff, are picking the Rams to be the team to beat or the team that will beat the Buccaneers, and a lot of it is because they feel that there's a huge upgrade at quarterback from Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff. I think there's an upgrade. I don't know if it's big enough, and I'm not. I think that the Rams will maybe a better team. But I'm not throwing my hat in the ring to say that this is also a Super Bowl team because they got Matthew Stafford. You ever thought on this on that thought?
Matthew Stafford, I believe, has a sub 500 record.
Probably
has been in the playoffs once or twice, at least once, maybe twice in his career. Has not won a playoff game, and they're turning around and calling him better than Jared Goff. Goff has gone to a Super Bowl. And I mean, I think that's all being lost. I think everything that Goff has done is being lost and disregarded. Yeah. I'm not saying that he's the next Tom Brady or Peyton Manning. Don't get me wrong, okay? But the guy made it to the fucking Super Bowl in what, his third or fourth year?
Third year, I think. Yeah.
Okay, that's got to say something. It says something to me,
Yeah,
at least.
sure. Absolutely.
Okay, I just don't understand what it is that's going on with these people.
Mhm.
Why all of a sudden Matthew Stafford couldn't get his team out of last place, but he's going to bring the Rams to the Super Bowl and possibly win it? I don't think he's that good. I don't think he's that good. And not for nothing, he's on the wrong side of 30.
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Okay, when is all of a sudden are they going to turn around and be like, oh wow, we didn't see this coming, now did we? This guy's fucking declining already. It's week 3, and he sucks.
Yeah,
So-
listen. I will think. I think there will be an upgrade. I don't know enough that the Rams are also now going to be the team to beat the Buccaneers, and we'll get to the Bucs in a little bit. But that's just one. I know you're not huge on the Sam Darnold thing. Do you think there's any chance? Young team, new coach, new environment that maybe kind of reinvigorates. Do you think he has any shot of salvaging his career or being what he was supposed to be?
What was he supposed to be? Because he never came close.
Sam Darnold was supposed to be the next great quarterback, Jeff. I mean, something ever sucked for Sam. Everybody thought, and I said it from the beginning. He had one great game and a decent season, and everybody had him as to be the next, superstar, and I didn't see it. So, I mean, is there a chance going down there, new environment, new coach, any chance he reinvigorates and even gets?
I don't see it. To me,
NFL quarterback.
To me, the only difference between him and Mark Sanchez, because their career with the Jets kind of mirrored one another, is just that Sam Darnold has got orange hair and his boyish good looks, where Mark Sanchez had dark hair and was a suave, debonair young man. All right, neither one of them, in my eyes, really did much.
Right.
Because what's his face? Donald, he has a chance. Yeah, but I just don't see it. I do not see it. I never felt confident with him on the field, just like I never felt confident with Sanchez on the field, even though Sanchez did have a couple decent years. But, I mean, you're talking about a guy that was averaging anywhere from 170 to 200 yards a game.
Yeah.
I think he threw for 300 yards once or twice, same as Donald.
Sanchez had the luxury of having a really good running game, a great offensive line. Right, I mean that was a great offensive line.
Yes, it was. But you know what? Even with all of those tools, you always knew that he was not going to turn around and say, "All right, guys, listen, let's get this done.
We
need to get this done."
You never felt like he said, "I got this. Let's go."
Exactly.
Right. I agree.
And it never happened.
No, you're
Donald
right.
looks like he even had less. At least Sanchez went to the playoffs his first 2 years.
Correct.
And the AFC Championship game at that.
Correct.
Donald. I'm sorry, man. I just have no confidence in that guy at all.
Okay, now I think there's going to be a major step backwards for the New Orleans Saints. I mean, it can't help. And listen, you lost a legendary quarterback, a guy who's broken records. Either one of these guys can take and keep his team the top of the division, Jeff. Because I got to tell you, I think that there's a bottoming out coming for the New Orleans Saints.
I will say this much, okay. I don't think it's going to be Hill. If the team can turn it around and do anything, it's going to happen with Winston.
Okay.
It's going to be, and the reason I say this is because, what the fuck is his name? Breeze had the tools, but Sean Payton was able to bring him up and bring them out to the next level and everything else, and help make him the starter he was. If Winston has it in him and he could be a better quarterback, I think Sean Payton will get it out of him. I'm not saying he's going to be the next Breeze. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just thinking that he could be, he did throw for 30 touchdowns, 5,000 yards, but 30 interceptions.
Yes.
Okay. So those aren't exactly numbers that people just go out every year and hit for the sake of hitting. 30 touchdowns, 5,000 yards. All right. The 30 interceptions. Nobody wants to see that, but cut down on the interceptions. Let me ask you something. Winston comes out, throws for 4,800 yards, 33 touchdown passes, and 15 interceptions. What do you say to that?
What's the record?
What do you mean? What's the record?
What's their record? What are they? 10-7. They
Even at 10-7.
okay. I'd say he had a good season, and he's made a huge upgrade.
So you would actually give him credit,
Sure,
for a season like that.
absolutely, and he needs to because I think
I agree, he needs to, without a doubt.
yeah,
Or else he's out of the NFL.
No, but here's why I say it, Jeff, because here's a guy you pointed out perfectly. His stats were better than average to a certain extent, and we can knock this fact that let's say he didn't take advantage, but you got a 40-something-year-old quarterback comes in the year after him and takes that exactly same team to a Super Bowl. So to me, that's a big knock on Winston to say, hey, this team was Super Bowl ready.
90
You were
seconds.
You were the problem.
Yes, but you don't want to know something, Tom. As much as I agree with you there, because you're 100% right. Okay, you're still talking about Tom Brady versus Jameis Winston.
100%.
If you took Tom Brady at any given time in his career and you put him against Baker Mayfield, the kid from Arizona now with Kyler Murray, okay, Deshaun Watson, any younger quarterback, Winston, Brady is still at any age is still going to fucking be better than them.
No, I'm not disagreeing with that, but what I'm saying though is, and again, if Winston took them to the playoffs,
plus Brady went there with Gronk, which is a big thing for them. I mean, come on, man, they're teammates for years and have been through fucking wars together.
Yeah, but he had Goodwin, he had the other kid, the other great wide receiver they have. I'm saying this,
Evans.
Yes, Evans. So I mean, he had all those weapons there. Yes, he didn't have Gronk, but that defense was there. That offensive line was there. The running game was there. I mean, they picked up Fournette, but who played okay. The only big changes were Gronk and Brady. Okay, agreed. Gronk and Brady are a big item together and all that. But Winston this year can't come out and take that team to 7-10 and throw for 400 yards. It just can't. He can't do it.
I believe that team had a lot of fucking salary cap problems.
Yeah,
so they didn't just turn around and say, okay, listen, we have everybody on the team that we had from last year. All you got to do is go out there and not turn the ball over. So that they had some problems too. They're not just the Saints from last year.
No, I agree with you. So, but you, in your estimation, Winston gets the job, and what are you predicting? Are you predicting a? Can you predict at this point? Do you think you have enough information, or you want to see how the preseason plays out before you're going to?
No, I don't think that they're going to be a very good team. I think that they're going to be around 500, maybe even below 500. I think it's time that Sean Payton fucking leaves there.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. All of that, I do. I think that they should have moved on from Payton at this point when Breeze moved on, and I think that team will be sub 500, which obviously is going to be the case. There's no 17 games, so it can't be 500 this year. But I think that team will be sub 500, and I think Sean Payton will be on the hot seat for the year after. I think it'll be time for a clean sweep, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to worry about getting Ken this year. I think he'll get.
No. He'll get through the season this year for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Okay, Jeff. Another topic for me. Let me ask you this question: Jimmy Garoppolo finishes the season at quarterback for the 49ers. Trey Lance is going to be the quarterback before long.
I believe so. I think that if Trey Lance gets a start before the trade deadline, Garoppolo's gone come the trade deadline.
Okay, it's interesting. And
that's what I think.
Foles, Fields, or Dalton up in Chicago. Who's starting?
Definitely not Foles. It's going to be Fields or Dalton, but by the end of the year, it's going to be Fields.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Dalton to get the start of the season, and I agree with you. I think that team's going to be a 500, let's call it sub 500 team, and I think eventually Fields will get the starts. I think that's where they're going to go, but I think Dalton gets the early starts.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, I agree. Jeff, Chiefs. Can the Chiefs get back to a third straight Super Bowl? I mean, they won one. They got beat last year pretty badly. Can the Chiefs buck the trend? I can go back probably 6 or 7 years and show you that most of the Super Bowl losers don't even come close to making the playoffs next year. Can the Chiefs beat that? And can they possibly make a third straight Super Bowl?
I think they can. I think they can.
Are they the team to beat in the AFC?
Until they're beaten, yeah, I'd have to say yeah. I don't see somebody else having the horses to do it.
I got two for you.
Who?
Buffalo.
I don't know.
And I think Tennessee's gotten a hell of a lot better, especially with Julio Jones.
I think that Mahomes
Mm-hmm.
is just too good of a quarterback to be beaten by Buffalo. That's one thing.
Okay.
Second of all, even with Julio Jones, I think Atlanta got rid of him at the right time.
I agree with that. I
don't
agree with
I don't know if he's going to be the Julio Jones of old, or is he going to be the reliable veteran that that when you need him, he could produce. And he isn't going to carry the team. That's still Derrick Henry's team.
I agree with that. And I think that's perfect. I don't think you need him to carry you. You need him to come up with a couple big spots. And I think that team's got enough talent there.
Dude, all he's got to do is be able to run. That's all he has to do is run. Because all they got to do is set him down the sideline.
Yep. And
they can fucking dump passes to fucking Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Let him do what he's going to do.
I think that team's going to be a good team this year. I'll be shocked if they're not. And I do not believe that the Kansas City Chiefs will make it back to a third Super Bowl. I think they'll be a playoff team. They'll probably win that division. I kind of have to look at it again, but I don't have a problem with that. I think that'll be interesting. Before we get to the Jets and Giants, and I want to make sure we both get a chance to break down the Jets and Giants a little bit, I'm going to throw you some games I think are key games this year. And you tell me, I don't want to call it the morning show calls it buzz or no buzz. I'm just going to tell you, Jeff, is this an interesting game for you?
How about we come up with our own?
What do you want to call it?
Well, how about a semi?
Okay.
Or not happening?
Okay. So here we go, Jeff. Semi or not happening?
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I got you.
Okay.
Week number 12. I'm going to wait to week 12 for this game, Jeff. But because of the way the Giants season ended last year, and because the Eagles, kind of tanked the game, I think the Eagles at the Giants week number 12 is a semi.
I'm not getting nothing out of that one because I think that by week 12, if this is a bad division, by week 12, people are going to be like, come on, let's go. Let's get this fucking one over with.
It's possible.
I don't think it's going to be a game people are going to want to see if it turns out to be a bad year.
By the way, I'm going to have to put semi or not happening on a T-shirt. That's going to be our motto from this point on. So, Hard Rocket Sports Show, semi or not happening. It's key, Jeff. I think it's a good one. Okay.
Speaking of after a week off, what happened? What is our Israeli numbers?
Our Israeli numbers went up. We're almost back to 8. We're almost back to an 8 share we were down from 9 down to 6. And now we're back to just about 8. So
we're clawing, huh?
We're crawling our way back up to the for the Israelis.
So the people in Israel are like they're like we got to see what they're doing.
Now they're back. It was the underwear, Jeff. It was the underwear that did it for them, Jeff. The underwear's back.
Hold on. I'm glad you did that.
Okay.
I'm glad you did that. You know why?
Why is that, Jeff?
I got 2 different kinds here.
You got 2 different kinds of underwear?
2 different kinds. I went and I got the boxer briefs. But these are Adidas.
I'm a big fan of boxer brief, guy.
And they're just regular silk, or not silk, satin, whatever the fuck, spandex, whatever.
Yep, I got the same ones. Uh-huh.
Then I got these. These are also Adidas, but these are breathable.
Breathable.
I don't know if you can see the little holes.
I guess I can see the little holes, yes.
And they are breathable. And I told Sharon the other day while wearing them in the car, I said, sweetie, there is absolutely no barrier between you and me. If anything happens, you're under chemical attack. So needless to say,
go ahead.
The ones, the breathable ones, are just a little bit bigger.
Okay.
A little bit bigger. They get my nod, my seal of approval.
Nice. We'll have to look into
both of them do, but they don't have that stupid little cock pocket that you got.
Yep. Nope.
I don't understand that at all.
I'm not understanding it either. I took them on vacation, Jeff, and they did even worse on vacation.
Really?
Yeah, there was A lot of strain. You see the big hole right there for the tallywhacker.
That's where your little tallywhacker was, man.
That's it. He rides in there. See that?
Your little Tommy whacker.
Yeah, stretched it out, Jeff. Stretch it out. On Rocket Sports Show, Jeff and Tom here for a little while longer, having some fun. The NFL opens up. I got the Cowboys and Steelers on in front of me. Terrible looking football game, but who cares? It's football. Football's back here at Hard Rocket Sports. Again, we're celebrating 7 years on the air together, having some fun. And thanks to everybody who's keeps an eye on what we do over here.
7 years, man.
7
Wow.
years, man. Yeah, 7
Jeez.
years.
So what is that? 7 years ago, that would have been we would have been 48 and 47. Is that it?
Pretty much, yeah.
Jesus Christ, man!
We're
Wow.
young pups, Jeff. Young pups. Yeah,
No more.
Now we're dusting off the AARP cards, Jeff. Now we're dusting.
Oh
off
yeah.
the AARP
I was
cards.
talking about underwear.
Absolutely, Jeff. What's the best division of football right now?
The best division of football, I got to say, NFC West.
Oh, NFC West. So you're saying Rams, 49ers, Seahawks, Cardinals.
Yes, sir.
Wow, that's a good one. I'm going to tell you I agree, but I'm going to tell you my dark horse is going to be the AFC East. I am a big fan of the AFC East this year. I think
I don't understand why. Oh, I know.
I
Go
do. Here's why. I think everybody's going to be better. Do I think they're going to be great teams? No. Do I think the Jets are going to win 2 games this year? I don't. I think the Jets will be a better football team. They're not making the playoffs. They're not winning 10 games. None of that. But I think the Jets are going to be a better football team this year. I think the Patriots are absolutely going to be a better football team this year. The Dolphins, I think, could be a little worse, but still a decent team. And I think the Bills are still. I think the Bills could be top 2, top 3 in the thing. So I think the AFC East is going to be a better division. I don't think it'll be the best, but I think it's a much better division this year.
Time will tell. I don't see it that way, but time will tell.
Okay. All right. So next game that I have, Jeff, on the thing for semi or not at all or not happening. Tampa Bay at New England, week 4. Tom Brady going home to see Bill.
Dude,
Semi
I'm hoping
or not
that
happening?
semi,
Not semi.
and I'm hoping that Bill Belichick's got a great big old fucking boner for Tom Brady,
Well,
and I hope he delivers it too, and I hope it still works. What happened, Tom? Uh-oh. I think Tommy's done something. Let's see if he comes back. I don't know what's going on. I guess that week on vacation, he forgot how to run the show. That may be it. But well, there you go. What happened? You forgot what you were doing?
I touched the screen. The next thing you know, I was gone. I have no idea.
Do you
what
have a
happened.
touchscreen computer?
Yes, I have a touchscreen computer.
So do I. I'm afraid, like anything, like any smudge or whatever on it, I'm afraid to fucking touch it.
Yeah, no, I'm usually not. It just for some reason I touched it and I disappeared, so I'm not touching it again. But what was I going to say? I think. Listen. So, would you say you'll be rooting for Bill Belichick in this game? Will you have a rooting interest to see Brady lose? Is that what we're talking about here?
If I had to pick a team to win, I would definitely go with Belichick over Brady.
Oh, wow, interesting. Okay.
I would hope that Belichick ends Brady's career.
That's not nice, but okay. You're definitely entitled to your opinion on that one, I guess.
Matter of fact, I hope that Brady is in the victory formation,
Uh-huh.
up by 6 points with 12 seconds left to go. He steps to the line in victory formation.
Uh-huh.
They jump the fucking huddle, jump the line, knock him out, and a 350-pound lineman rumbles like 86 yards with the ball for the touchdown.
Wow.
Ties it up, and then they win with the extra point. All this while Brady's knee is up by his ear someplace. But the rest of his leg is down where it's supposed to be.
All right, let's run through these quick.
Is that too much to ask for?
It's not too much to ask for, Jeff, but it's not going to happen. Chargers at Kansas City in week number 3. The two young guns. Just a lot of guys, people picking Justin Herbert to win the MVP this year, or to go up to improve on a rookie of the year. Is that a semi or not happening, Jeff?
Semi.
Tampa Bay at the Rams, week number 3. Also, some people predicting that will be the NFC Championship game. Jeff, is that a semi or not happening?
Dude, that does absolutely nothing for me.
Okay, that's okay. So that's a not
That
happening.
that does nothing for. Does that do anything for you?
It's an interesting game. I would not say I'm semi about it because I it's not a great matchup for me. But it's an interesting game because again, it could be the NFC Championship game down the road. This could be the 2 best teams in the division in the league, and I'll say I'll pay attention to it. I would not say I am semi about it.
No, I'm not digging it, man. I'm not digging it.
How about week 5, Buffalo at Kansas City? Again, another game where you could be looking at the AFC Championship game.
Buffalo at Kansas City.
Yes, week 5.
That gets me going. That gets send some blood to the groin.
You got some semi going there, right?
Yeah, it just shifted.
And the last one for me, this is probably not going to be a great football game, but I think it's got to be something we watching because it's the Lions at the Rams. Quarterback switched in the offseason. Stafford going home. What's your thoughts on is that a semi or not happening, Jeff?
That doesn't mean anything, only because of the Lions side.
Okay.
I don't think the Lions they're in rebuild mode and everything. I just don't see them having enough to go up against the Rams. I think the Rams are too
just for
advanced.
the record, this will now be in a segment each week. Semi or not happening is the new segment for the show.
What you need to do is get the meter like swing.
You know what? I will do my
and then have it wing.
That is a very.
Where is speaking of not happening, what happened?
The half man sent me a text message and said he's not feeling well tonight, which I will interpret as he's hungover or completely hammered, and he begged off and said he can't come out tonight.
So then we shall release his nickname.
You want to do that now? Is that what you're saying?
He can not defend himself. He is prone and not able to defend himself.
All right, so go ahead. You can announce his nickname.
All right. You should tape this so that you could send this to him one way or another.
Okay.
Right? But Dom, you started off Dom in the Raider Report, where it then morphed into halftime with the half man. Okay.
Still my favorite.
And then you allowed Paul Gill to steal cupcakes and all the kinds of food and everything else without even putting up a fight. We'll never forget that half man. So now we're thinking like, what can we do? We can't just call him half man forever. We have to do something. So I think that this is a big year, don't you?
Absolutely.
It's a big year for things happening and going on, right?
Absolutely.
And Mr. Nassib came out of the closet.
Mr. Nassib. So Carl Nassib being the first, I guess, openly gay active football player.
Yes.
Okay.
Carl Nassib.
And Dom is now Carl Nassib.
He is just Nassib.
He's Nassib. That's it.
Yeah.
He's like Madonna. He's Elvis. He's Cher. He's
Sting.
Nassib.
He's everybody. He's known as one name.
Nassib.
Nassib.
We've heard it all here, folks, on the Hot Rocket Sports Show. Dom Jinta, your new name is Nassib if you're listening. If not, I will send you a message tomorrow and let you know that that's your new name, Dom.
Dom, your name, you have been renamed.
Nassib.
You have been renamed by your friends here at the Hard Rocket Sports Show.
All right, so I'm going to hold off some of the other stuff, Jeff. I want to get to the Jets and the Giants before we're done. So would you like to break down your Jet team first? Would you like me to go first and break down the Giants?
Good. Well, let's break down the Giants. So we ought to have a field day with this one.
Oh, boy, here we go. So here's what I'll go first, and then you can counter with your negative, puny analysis of my
Hold on.
Yeah.
I just want to get my trusty little book.
I got a book.
So I can write all this down.
You writing all this down?
Oh yeah.
Get a pen. Get it. In fact, you should have a Sharpie. Something not.
I have my pen.
Okay. Whenever you're ready, I'll be happy to do it.
You don't have a pen or one of these pens.
I have actually an erasable pen. It's one of.
I don't need an erasable pen.
I have an erasable pen. but I guess I make many mistakes, Jeff. But anyway, my Giants, it's simple. I think the Giants will be a much improved team. I think I think the culture of the Giants has completely changed. I think players are there now will run through a wall for their coach. I think they have developed a tremendous chemistry. I think a lot of it's going to depend on their two big players. Obviously, Daniel Jones has to have a better season. Daniel Jones cannot have a 3,100 yard, 20 touchdowns, 19 interception season. Daniel Jones has to take the next step. We need a healthy Barkley. It doesn't have to be great, just have to be healthy and play as well as he can. And I think this defense is going to be great. I think the secondary is going to be one of the best in football. And I think the Giants will win their division 10-7 by 2 games. I don't think any of the other teams are any good. I think the Cowboys are overrated. I think the Eagles are shit. And Washington, the Redskins have Fitzpatrick. And Fitzpatrick is a disaster who will win a couple of games and then send them into the toilet. So I predict the Giants to be the NFC East champs. Possible first-round win, but I'll be happy with an NFC East win and a playoff team going 10-7. I'll start with that.
Oh, my God. Oh, I don't even know where to start. I really don't even know where to start.
So what you want. Start with the truth. How about you find your way to find the truth in there somewhere? How's that?
Yeah, because it's all fabrication and probable cause of lies.
Oh, lies.
That's lies. Fabrication.
Go ahead.
I think that the only thing that you got going for you is Judge. I think that Barkley is more hurt than what they say he is. That's why he got hurt in the second game of the year. Mm-hmm. He's still not even running, from what I understand.
No, you got to watch the videos. The guy's training like a monster.
Yeah, but he's not going to be ready for the first season. So
it's possible. It's very possible he might not be ready game one.
Watch, ready? Go over there.
That's what you know.
Take this guy with you. Get him, Davey. Go over there with Barkley. Okay, that leaves you your quarterback. Okay,
Danny Dimes.
Sam, what's his name again? I'm sorry.
Danny Dimes.
Danny Dimes. Yeah.
Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones behind a suspect line. So you got to think, like, what's going to happen? What is this guy going to do? Is he going to be able to do anything? What? I don't know. I just don't see it. I do not see it. I think this line is better. I think there's more depth there. Lemieux's already back. They talked he'd be out for 2 or 3 weeks. The guys are already back on the field. I think this line is going to gel. I think it was gelling last year. I think having a guy like Solder on the bench as a swing tackle is huge. I think he's the starting left tackle, man. Come on.
No. Andrew Thomas is starting at left tackle. He's fighting for the right tackle spot, and he could get it, but I think they're going to go with Matt Pert, and I hope they do. And I think that the big thing for the Giants is I think the receiving core is as good as anybody in the league. With Golladay, Slayton, Shepard, hopefully Ingram takes the next step, but who knows? He did have an all-pro season last year, but I think this team has got some weapons, and I think the offensive line comes through as good as I think they're going to be. This is going to be a tough team.
No, I don't see it.
I know you don't see
it. I don't see it because that offensive line has proven nothing, which means that Jones can't get better, and he could have Jerry Rice and every other fucking perennial all-star on the team with him. And if he doesn't have the time, it doesn't matter who it is. He's not going to be able to throw the ball. And I just don't see it.
Well, I disagree. I think the division is not that good. I think the Giants will take advantage of that. I don't think the Eagles are going to be good. I don't think the Cowboys are going to be great. I think
Cowboys are going to be America's team.
No, come on, please. The Cowboys are
America's team.
Here we go. Yeah, America's team. Yeah, and I think Washington. Listen, their defensive line is great. Their secondary is suspect. I think offensively, Fitzpatrick. That's all I got to tell you. Fitzmagic, Fitztragic. It's inevitable that team will be at best a 10-7 team. Not even that team. The Redskins. They're probably a 6-11 team. At least a 6-11 team.
You gotta be kidding.
So Giants win that division, going away by 2 games.
Gotta be kidding.
No,
Gotta be kidding.
you think this Redskins are going to be better than 6-11?
Yes.
Oh my God, they weren't even better last year. They're barely better than that last year. If it
They're
wasn't that
better.
the Eagles tanked, the Giants make the playoffs.
The Eagles are the last place team in the division.
I agree.
Okay. All right. So and the Giants are as bad as they are because Gettleman has no clue to what the fuck he's doing.
All right, let's shift over to the Jets so that way we don't run out of time.
Typical of his fan base, he runs away before it gets too thick.
Gettleman's put together a great team.
The fuck out of here.
Secondary,
Please.
the secondary
Please.
is predicted to be the best secondary in football by Lindy's Pro Football Sports here. Okay, they have a great linebacking core. The defensive line is stacked. Their defense is going to be top 5 for sure. The defense is top 5. Offensively, they have the potential, I say, to be a top half of the league. Guaranteed. This is a tough team. Well, we'll see.
Oh my God!
This is my breakdown. So give me. Go ahead now.
You gotta be. Let me ask you something. Did you stay up all night trying to dig in that bullshit?
Nope. I call as I see it, my friend. I call just as I see it.
Well,
I'll be going. By the way, I'll be going next Wednesday night to the one and only Giant Open practice as a guest of my friend Lou Spica. So I'll be at Giant Stadium next Wednesday night watching the G-Men practice, maybe hanging out a little bit. So I'm looking forward to that. I haven't been to a Giant practice in, God, gotta be 10 years since I went to Albany to watch them practice. So I'm looking forward to that. But Jeff, now in the few minutes we have remaining on this show, please bore us to death with your New York Jets.
What's there to say, Tom? This is a team that's rising. They're up and coming. Okay, this year they'll be a little bit better than last year. But the only people that are going to try to heap false praise on them is going to be a fella like yourself.
Oh,
this year, when they don't deliver, you can turn around and say, "Well, I thought I had high expectations. They suck. This, that, and the other thing." So I'm just going to go to complete opposite and tell you that this is a team that might win 4 games. Might win 4 games. Okay, one of them they may actually blow the other team out, and it's not even going to be a good blowout. Okay, it'll be a boring blowout. You watch. This is a team that's going to go, my estimation, 5-12.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, what? Let me ask you this question. So you got a new coach, new quarterback, new team philosophies. Everything's new. It's a brand spanking new team. We know the history of the last couple of years wasn't great. Forget about the win total? Okay, we know wins don't always equate to better team. Okay, what will you watch for? Forgetting about wins and losses. What will you watch for that will give you signs that you have the right people in place?
Well, I know that we have the right people in place. I don't have to watch anything. It's just a matter of that it's not happening this year.
Okay, but you have to still see some signs. What will be the signs that you say, Tom, I'm watched 9 games this year already, and I know this team is great. This team's going to be great because of what? Will you be looking for? Chemistry, lack of penalties, great execution. What will it be for you when you watch a team that you say is only going to win 5 games this year? But what will you say? Hey, I know we only won 5 games this year, but the future's bright.
I think the future is bright because of the people that they have on it. I think they're going to have another good draft, and then we could start putting some better pieces in place. I don't think that this is a team that's going to go out and frighten anybody. I think that they're, right now they need to lock up some players so that they can play better for next year, and I think that's what it's all about. It's still a year away, so that it's going to be the plan for next year. What pieces do we need right now? Who grows? Who doesn't? That's what it's going to be. I guarantee you next year you'll still see somebody on that team like still fighting to be in the NFL and do whatever it is that they got to do to keep their position. But there's going to be no no sure all-star on that team come next year at this time. I just don't feel it. I don't see it.
What are you looking for out of your quarterback? Because to me, that's the most important guy. What will you look for? Forget about stats and wins and losses. What will you watch out of your quarterback where you will say, okay, this isn't going to be Sanchez or Donald. This is truly the guy. What will be honestly the thing that you're going to look for in your quarterback at the end of the year?
Leadership. I want to see him try to lead this other team, whatever team that whatever guys he has on his team. I want to see him lead and try to take that team to the next level. You show me that's happening and that you're trying to carry the team on your back, then I'll believe that this team has turned the corner. But until that happens, they're just another NFL team that's going to be out on the field on Sundays.
Is there an aspect of this team now that you say, hey, watch this, our receiving core, our defensive line? What is it that you say right now? What's the best part of this team going into the season right now?
Best part of the team going into the season?
What's the best unit on this team? So
probably the defensive line.
Okay, Quinnen Williams and Mosley and all those characters. That's
I would think that's probably the best time, because once they get onto the field for the first week of the season, they're just going to start piling up experience. Quinnen Williams. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I think that he's ready to take the next step. I really do. I think that every year he's going to get meaner and meaner and meaner. And I think that this is going to be a huge year for him. I think that by the end of the season, they'll be make him a captain.
I would agree with that 100%. Now, does it make you nervous that Mekhi Becton is, from what reports I've seen, showing up a little heavier than he's supposed to be, and has a foot problem? Gotten over it a little bit. Does that scare you in any way?
Tom, all I can tell you is listen to some last year's shows. It's one of the first things I called about for him. Said the guy's fucking a monster.
Yeah.
All he needs is one little nagging injury. That's it.
Yeah, especially
we're going to see.
And your foot's bothering, it's hard to let it heal, I guess. So
all of that weight.
Now,
it's one thing to weigh 250 plus pounds. It's another thing to weigh 370 plus pounds.
Yeah, they say he's close to that, if not more. I think Joe Douglas did a great job with the draft this year. Elijah Vera Tucker should come in and help on the offensive line. They had a good draft with receivers. Michael Carter, the running back. Early thoughts. A D. Where you put Joe Douglas? What he's at least brought to the team. Now they may not pan out. Let's see the season play out. But rate Joe Douglas's draft at this point.
I like what he did with the draft. I think that he helped the team with what he did in the draft. I would give him a solid B, only because these people haven't played in the real game yet. Mm-hmm. So once they start getting some battle tested, we'll have an idea. We'll know more about what they can or can't do. And right now, I think they'll be okay. I think the team is gonna. I just hope that the pieces grow together and stay together. Not like one contract and then they're gone, and that you're looking for replacements. I'm really hoping that that's not the case in this time around with the Jets.
Hey, let's say 4 years from now, you're hoping that there's a bunch of guys getting a second contract, because it hasn't happened very much lately.
No, and that's how you continue to build a winner.
Sure, absolutely, 110%. Jeff and Tom, Hard Rocket Sports. We're going to wind this thing down now. Jeff, usually in this show we kind of pick the division winners and the Super Bowl. I think we're going to hold that to the show September 9th, which the season, that'll be the first game of the regular season. I'm trying to remember who's opening the season up. Top of my head, I want to say it's the Cowboys, but I'm not sure. The first Thursday night game, whoever it is, we'll do our predictions. Next week, we're going to pick some top 5 defenses, top 5 offenses. We got a lot of football to get to. We'll talk about the Jets and Giants along the way. But right now, tonight, Thursday, August the 5th, what's the first thing that you're looking forward to seeing in football? Is it the first preseason game? Are you looking to see how the Jets shape up? Give me something that you're looking forward to over the next couple of weeks.
I want to see the changeover of quarterbacks. I want to see some of the old guard fall to the side and new people, new blood come in. We've had this conversation many times in the past, and we never really got to see what would happen because, like, guys like Brady still played, Roethlisberger, but I want to see these guys go away, and let's see what happens with the new NFL. Are the stats going to be the same? Are the numbers going to be the same? What numbers are going to be hot? What players are going to be hot? And I think that we have enough new players in the league that the team, it's not going to be like, okay, you have Peyton Manning going out there in the fourth quarter. Peyton is 151 and lost 3, in the fourth quarter, winning in the fourth quarter. So it's going to be a different thing. Let's see if Goff survives on a new team. Let's see if Kyler Murray does good. Let's see if Rivers has to come back. Does RG3 have to come back? Is their career over? So there's a lot going on, a lot of different scenarios as far as quarterbacking go. Are any of these rookies going to be the real deal? We don't know. We won't know for a while. But we have to let them play to see what they can do.
100%. Last question, Jeff, for the night for me. With the 17-game schedule, obviously there's a lot more opportunities to break some records. Should the records be in jeopardy now because there's an extra game, yardage for the season, touchdowns for the season? Does any of that change now based on the fact that it's a 17th game?
Depends. It depends. I would say that if for the most part, to me, depending on who the player is, what team he's on, and what their position is, if you have a guy that, say, still going into the 15th game of the season, 16th game of the season, both of these players have 500 yards receiving, but yet one guy, he ended up getting a 400-yard day and he holds the record. So I guess it would depend on what these guys have. Like if it's a record like that we're talking about, does the extra game pile on?
Yes.
200 yards, or is it just push them over the edge? That's basically what I'm trying to say.
Right.
If it just pushes them over the edge,
yeah,
I think it's one thing. But if they already eclipse the record by game 14 or 15, I think it's going to be another story.
Okay, it's fair enough. That's completely fair. I think that's a good way to look at it. So, guys, it's just starting up. Football's a long way off. We got a lot of ahead of us. We'll break down this. We're going to break it down every Thursday. We'll talk a lot of football. There's going to be a lot of cuts and trades and guys moving around during the preseason. We'll get to some preseason games, and of course, the games will be for real starting September 9th. Full slate September 12th. Giants and Jets and everybody else kicking in. We're going to have a lot of fun. We'll curse at each other. We'll call each other names, but every week we'll show up and do it all over again. So, but I want to end this one tonight. First off, I want to say a big, big thank you from me to everybody out there who's supported this show for 7 years. Again, I want to thank Jimmy Galicchio, my brother, Joe Gansas, my dad, Nikki Marino, all the people behind the scenes who've done so much. My wife, Jeff's wife, Sharon, for putting up with us doing this, and Sharon actually listening to the show. My wife never listens anymore, but Sharon, I know once in a blue moon will tune us in. So I want to thank all of them. Thanks to everybody out there who listens to us every week and supports us when we do this. Since we've been on the radio, since we've been doing it this way, the numbers have grown tremendously.
They're skyrocketing.
They are skyrocketed. So. But again, anything goes from 3 up to 50, it's a skyrocket. So we'll take it. But a big thank you. But the biggest thank you is to you, Jeff. And I'll tell you why. We had a conversation with Joey today, and I told you that, you're a big part of the show. And the reason is, and I'll be flat, I'll tell you, every week when I get on the show, I want you to walk away going, that was a good show, or that it was an interesting show. And that to me, that's what I strive for. If I keep you interested, I know I'm doing my job setting the show up every week. So, but without you, there probably wouldn't be a Hard Rocket Sports today. And it's a great way for us to stay close and do this. and it's a pleasure and a thrill to do it every week with you. So believe me when I tell you, you're no small part of this. You're a huge part of this show.
No, I thank you, man, and that makes me feel good to hear somebody say that. And the show has become what you wanted it to be, which is two friends talking someplace.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, I know there's been times where you've had scripts, and you just say, look, put that over there, because we just take one thing and then off you go, and that's it. So it's been a lot of fun, and listen, when two people know one another, as long as we know one another, it's easy to just sit there and talk. And some of the best shows have been where we bring one thing up, and next thing you know, we're supposed to talk about this, but we're talking about car racing and ducks crossing the field while a baseball game is on, and what happens when the cat gets on the soccer field, and all of this stupid stuff, and top 5 this, top 5 that. But we kept one another occupied for a long time, and it's just a lot of fun, man. It's always fun. I always look forward to Thursday nights. I have my routine. I get my Chinese food. My wife won't eat it with me, but I get my Chinese food on Thursday. And as soon as I'm done, I got a few minutes. I talk to her, and I'm like, well, listen, I got to go upstairs. I got to go on the show. Tonight was another story.
Yes.
We had 2 different people come look at the house today, so it was a little hectic. The dog was not being cool at all. So we had that to deal with.
Right.
I ordered my Chinese food. These little motherfucking nips forgot my fucking egg rolls. So I had to call him up, and he's like, oh, so sorry, I forgot egg rolls. Like, meanwhile, he didn't even put it on the thing, and I'm like, yeah. So the guy comes to my house with the egg rolls, but it's a different driver.
Okay.
Now, I already tipped the other guy $5,
So now you got to tip the new guy?
Yeah, so I got to tip the new guy. So I tell my wife, I'm like, give me a couple bucks. It's like, fuck this guy. He's just getting a couple bucks. So I don't want to give him 5.
Yeah.
We don't have a couple bucks. All we have is 5. So I tell the guy, I'm giving him the miles. I was like, hold on, I gotta give you a tip. So he's like, oh, okay, thank you. So I give him the tip, and I'm like, yeah. I said, it's your lucky day, fucking $5 to drive 2 egg rolls down the fucking street. And he just like looked at me like, oh. So, but thank you there, Mr. Singbo. Send me my fucking egg rolls.
Never know where the show's going, folks. You never know. So, but guys, I want to thank my dad, everybody else, my wife, Jeff's wife, like I said, Giuseppe, all the people who supported the show to get to where it is today, and whoever that is. And again, thanks to John Ryhefka, Sean and Dave from Barstools and Band Talk. Thanks to Frank Jeffrey, who called in, even though we decided to scrap it, and he'll come on next week. And of course, thanks to all the people on the right side of the screen here who checked in tonight, and to everybody who listened in. And just thank you guys. 7 years of this, I still having fun doing it. I still look forward to Thursday night, and I couldn't wait to get back because I had so much to talk about. So we'll do it again next week, and we'll do it again for a while. We got a lot of football coming up. We have no guests scheduled, but you never know what's coming up.
A lot of fun, man, as usual, bro.
Absolutely.
Thank you for letting me be a part of it, bro.
I appreciate it, Jeff. As usual, I'll give you the last word. Anything you want to end it with?
Thank you.
Thank you. Again, guys, thanks to everybody out there. Please have a great, safe weekend. I hope you guys will come back next Thursday when we do this all over again. Back to a regular show. We'll get to do a lot of other sports and some music stuff. Lots of concerts going on. Thanks to Mick Michaels. I want to get the new song on the show next week, Casualties of War. And, of course, good luck tomorrow with the guys from Corners of Sanctuary with the new EP, Blood and Steel. Looking forward to it. But, again, guys, I'll end it with this. Thanks to everybody for the last 7 years, and I look forward to hopefully at least another 7 of doing this. So, again, for Jeff, myself, and everybody here at Hard Rocket Sports, I say thank you. Enjoy your night. Have a great weekend and a very special week. And we'll see you next Thursday right here at 7 o'clock. Hefe, I love you, brother. Thank you. And I will talk to you off the air.
Thank you, Tom, man. Thank you. That's I don't know what more to say. Thank you.
You're welcome, my brother. I'll talk to you later on. May get some rest.
Later, dude.
Later,
Be good.
yeah.
I love you, man.
Love you too.
Bye.